be one for the books. I can't wait to have this conversation. I tell you what, Chakra Doc, the shows we've done earlier have been getting rave reviews.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, yes. And we have, oh man, it's going to be hot. So, speaking of rave reviews, peace, code keepers, it's time to get on code. You know what the code is. You know what our code is, right? Our code is empowerment. Our code is empowerment. And we want you to get on code. We want you to become the code. You know, we want you to share the code, teach the code. So let's get on code. So back on the show with us is the good brother Minister Zumbi. Man, I'm so glad to have you back, man. He's been on, I don't want to say hiatus because you've been in the lab cooking up. He's been in the lab cooking up some goodness. And want to say salute and love to the Love Gang Queen, Miss Jelly. I throw up the P Funk sign. We call it the P Funk sign. That's the Love Gang sign, right? Miss Jelly in the house tonight, and everything's gonna be all right because we came to empower y'all. So, what's this all have to do with empowerment? You already know. Stay tuned. All right, welcome to Get On Code, the Fly Guy Show, which is a series of melanated conversations focused on empowerment, health, wealth, and knowledge of self.
People think in binary choices because they are conditioned to.
And on the wall was a picture of a wolf and a lion. I think the wolf was the Democratic Party, the lion was the Republicans.
But the drug trade and all these illegal stuff that people do, that's still economics. It's just that they couldn't do it in a traditional system.
We're talking about melanated wealth.
So we can build wealth, but we just, for some reason, don't seem to be able to transfer it.
You had a great experience. Fine. That means nothing.
What were you told as a child about education? You had to be how many times better?
Every impression without an expression becomes depression.
These code keepers, we are back. And I tell you what, he's back on the channel, back to spread the love gang message. We have the good brother, the Chakra Doctor. Yo, Doc, man, what's good? Good to have you back in the saddle, man.
What's good? What's good? How y'all brothers doing? My beautiful brothers, y'all looking good? Y'all feeling good? It's time to exchange some vibes, man.
Yes, sir.
I say that. I say that. Minister Zumbi, man, what's good? What have you been up to, man? Tell us what you've been working on, bro.
Well, my latest project is my second book, and the tentative title is called The Chicago Code. The Chicago Code is basically going to be what I call a blueprint for African manhood in the 21st century and beyond. Chicago is going to be an acronym, and the acronym will represent 7 virtues or 7 ideals that every African man should have. I'm also going to explore what characteristics are needed for 21st century African manhood. One of those is what I call healthy stoicism. Okay. With the recent killings and deaths of, our young hip hop brothers, I asked the question, how many of those could have been prevented if there was healthy stoicism in the mix and us not being so reactionary? So that's kind of part of my, yeah.
Wait. For the uninitiated,
yes.
What is stoicism?
Well, the best way I can define stoicism is one who has control or mastery of his or her emotions, to where the emotions are not driving the car.
I say. I'm glad you brought up the concept of a car, because the good brother Chakra Doctor talks about our bodies as being a car and needing the right oil, and we're going to make sure he gets into that. And I guess on a side note, man, we may have to let Dr., the good Chakra Doctor tap back into why he thinks that the young Dolph death was a hoax. Yeah,
yes,
but
sir.
Yo,
yes, sir.
Yeah,
you already know I maintain that. I even further maintain it now that these so-called private funeral leak photos are now airing, and it's just turning into more and more of a debacle. Like I tell you before, man, no blood, no crime. You can't get shot 22 times and there won't be blood at the scene. You can't get shot 22 times with a Draco AK-47 and pieces of your bone marrow and your fragments of your bone and skin and tendons and things of that nature that be on crime scenes would have been at the crime scene. That's number one. None of these things were present at the crime scene. They give you a picture of a figure of an arm hanging, an indefinite arm hanging out of the window, right? And no blood even on the arm. You don't got no blood nowhere near the glass where the arm is hanging from. Like, is this really an arm? Where is the blood that's hanging from the arm that's sticking in the glass? Didn't the glass penetrate his arm and take blood from that? Okay, well, you know, and you're getting the only story that we're getting and the only narrative that we're getting is are the people who control what we see, right? So let's analyze who's giving us the narrative, the so-called puppets and powers that be. But when we analyze the real footage from what we can see with our own eyes, there is no blood at the scene. I always ask people, if you can find a significant amount of blood for a person that has been shot 22 times, if you can find a significant amount of blood and say, hey, look at the blood at this scene. This is young Dolph's blood. He got pooled. There's a pool of blood. He's been shot 22 times. They shot at him 50 times, and he was hit 22 times under a sign that says 333. Okay, so I'll keep on telling people that this game that COINTELPRO has been playing only has gotten more evolved and more sinister. You thought COINTELPRO was dismantling the Black Panthers. You thought COINTELPRO was dismantling your other black organizations. No, we're gonna get even more pettier. We're gonna plant some leaders. We're gonna plant some leaders your way, and we're gonna make sure your leaders are rappers, people who die and get shot, and we're gonna make sure that we promote that Black Death into your child's home because your 4-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old is watching Young Dolph. It is these who they're trying to program. Remember, from 0 to 7, that's where they say they need them from. So they're trying to program our children from 0 to 7 and 7 to 14. If they can get that, then they've won the programming aspect of our children. And if our children are seeing black men dying, whether it was a hoax or real, if our children are seeing black men rapidly dying, especially rich black men, wow, you can make it to be a millionaire like Young Dolph and still be murdered. Black man ain't got nothing going for itself, right? They didn't want to show it like, oh, it's this, and they always want to show and promote black on black crime, like white people don't kill the most white people, Chinese people don't kill the most Chinese people, Asian people don't kill the most Asian people, like black people kill the most black people. Okay, this is among all of the races, but we're the only ones that have a stigma that's called black on black crime. So it just reeks of the old, Jim Crow, type of feel to it. It just reeks of people who actually lack power and they're trying to create situations to gain power. And make no mistake, man, you've seen it on the movie Squid Game. When you're playing with trillions of dollars and hundreds of billions of dollars, you can pull off almost anything.
Whoa. All right. Yeah, that's what we going tonight, y'all. that's what we doing tonight, y'all. That's how it was going down. That's how it was going down. Whew, that's something to think about. So, but Minister Zumbi, man, I definitely want to salute you. Your last work was beautiful, man. And I just got to show up for just a second. So, for those who have forgotten, for those of you who may have forgotten, that's it. Gospel of Afro-Nomics Theology. That was his first manifesto. You can pick that up everywhere. You definitely want to pick it up at your melanated bookstore.
Afro-Nomics Theology. Can you explain that to me, please, Reverend, Brother Minister?
Okay. A theology, and I want to simplify it. It's basically a belief system. Okay. So what I decided to do was to look at elements of the Black church, which is what Noble Drew Ali, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did, to take elements of that and apply it to their respective movements. So from an economic standpoint, what I noticed is that African people are not studying what I call the science of beef. Beef stands for business, economics, entrepreneurship, and finance. we're not looking at that science through our own cultural lens. So I said, can we come up with a theology or a belief system where we're culturally grounded and the decisions we make are culturally appropriate, whether it's where we purchase, what businesses do we form, what products do we sell to our people? Okay, it should all go through a lens or what I call a nucleus of culture, history, and spirituality.
Okay. Basically turning African economics into a religion.
Not necessarily a religion. It's
practicing
really,
practicing African economics religiously.
Right. It's more of how do you make this a way of life is really the thing. Because when I study other ethnic groups, every economic decision they make it through that cultural, historical, and spiritual lens. Okay. So you will never see. So let's take a Chinese restaurant. You will never see the owners of a Chinese restaurant buy their restaurant supplies from non-Chinese suppliers.
True.
Okay. So, and there's a thing that I talk about in my book called economic synergy. And what that means is that when you go into an ethnic community, all of the businesses within that community complement one another. So there's no competition. So in other words, instead of me coming into a city and setting up a barber shop, I come in and set up a warehouse distribution and turn my potential competitors into clients. So instead of me competing with my brother, I'm competing with those who tend to shut us out of that particular industry. Like, look at what the Koreans were doing in the hair care industry, and now we're beginning to get it back.
So how do you feel about how the Nation of Islam has dropped the ball when it comes to this topic that you're talking about?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I'm gonna bring up a story. Okay. Stephanie Mills did an interview on the Breakfast Club. Now I want y'all to follow me with this. Stephanie Mills did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and she said that there was a conversation that took place between Minister Farrakhan and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson made a proposal to the minister and really to the nation saying, I want the nation to have control over my publishing company. Now, remember what's in this publishing company at the time. We're talking about the Beatles. We're talking about Elvis Presley. We're talking about Eminem, Bruce Springsteen, Merle Haggard. And it's still, the value is still over $1 billion. Minister Farrakhan turns down the offer. And the rationale, from what I've been told from people inside the nation, basically saying, well, it's not the minister's mission per se to be a businessman.
Then he need to stop being a minister, because ministry is a business. That's what me and Mr. Farrakhan come at a hit of the heads at, because I grew up watching this man. I grew up digesting his words. I remember reading Message to the Black Man, and I remember about to join the Moors, and I remember about to jump head first for the Nation of Islam, but there just was some things that just didn't sit right with me. You know, it never sat right with me that y'all savior is a white man. It never will sit right with me. On Savior's Day every day, I gotta watch a cracker in my fucking face. I'm sorry for my sorry for my French. But it pains me.
We good.
It pains me.
Mm.
I'm campaigning as a Christian reverend to make Jesus black again, and going to the Bible Belt churches saying, "Hey, put black Jesus on your wall, put black Last Supper on your wall." While this man is talking about the white man is devil and the black man is God, but got the white man on Savior's Day. See, this don't add up to me. And so I think he denied Michael Jackson the control of that, because, like I told you before, in murders in the movies, the guilty culprit is always the one closest to you acting like they your friend. And Farrakhan been close to us acting like he our friend for decades, and we still ain't been nowhere but up the fucking street with a march. Now, this is where I have a problem with that, because you can't call yourself our leader able to mobilize 1 million of us at one time, but do nothing with that mobility. You can't talk about you got farmland here, farmland there, farmland everywhere, but you ain't got no programs and subsidies that our people can join as a welfare program to the Nation of Islam as an economic structure, because you are your own entity moving. Y'all sovereign. Y'all could go, people could come to you and get their name changed to X, and then moving to a higher rank. Yeah, so it shows me that you got some sovereignty with you. You got a little army with you. Now, I don't know why y'all ain't toting guns. I think it's a little deal y'all might got that y'all can't tote guns, because you know Massa gonna get scared of y'all and won't let up there and penetrate y'all. But make it no, never mind, because last time I checked, everybody else around you that got the armies toting guns, you the only niggas toting pea pies and bow ties. Now, why these niggas is toting militias and coming with heckling cops? Why the Nation of Islam ain't got their own gun making company? Why the Nation of Islam ain't got their own bus making company? They make buses and we can have some buses. Why the Nation of Islam ain't got no factories and is hiring black people? Why the Nation of Islam ain't got no major people in the political realm? Why the Nation of Islam ain't got no major people in the medical realm talking about what thus said Allah and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Why the Nation of Islam ain't got nobody in the banking field that's running something? Why the Nation of Islam ain't got nobody in the stock market field and in the crypto industry field that's saying, hey, look what Allah and Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan's knowledge has done for me. The only way I could benefit from the Nation of Islam is if I bow down to that white boy on Savior's Day, and I'm not with that.
Whoa. Hey, code keepers, we're building today. We're building today. Hey, this is the good brother, the Chakra Doctor, and you can catch on his website, chakradoctor.org, chakradoctor.org. But let's we need things to be in alignment.
Yes, sir.
We need things to be in alignment, man. So help us get our chakras in alignment. You have this FCA yoga coach. Yo, drop the bomb on this, man. Tell us what about this, and maybe you can align me, bro.
So in the ancient days, we gods who are now men used to have practices where we were able to be our higher Christ selves within these physical bodies and accomplishing major feats in short amounts of time. We call the practice to accessing this energy yoga, which then got appropriated and Indian washed for the ethnicity of the Indian community. And the blacks who owned yoga got it stole from the light-skinned Indians. And so the light-skinned Indians, they took over that particular area of our Black African indigenous spirituality. And in this practice of yoga, we are taught that first and foremost, when you're talking about the Ka and you're talking about the Ba, you're talking about something from Kemet. In India, they call our light body the Merkaba, Merkaba, Merkaba. This is what Christians call your spirit body, okay? And then in that same field, they had something what we like to call, what they like to call as your spiritual soul. Like they say your spirit body is basically like your etheric shell, but then you have a system inside of your etheric shell that is basically called your spirit and soul, and they call it chakra or kundalini. And so when you look at the pharaohs, you see some pharaohs used to have a statue with a snake on their head. Some pharaohs didn't have a statue with a snake on their head. The ones who had snakes on their head were the ones who were able to access the kundalini, their chakra, and be Christ conscious and Christ body in a physical body. The ones who didn't were not able, but they still were able to be, pharaoh. The pharaohs who had the snakes on their head, they were recognized as gods, and the ones who didn't was recognized as pharaoh, men. And so when you analyze the differences between just that, how important spirituality, like you said, was a big foundation in who we were, and it's completely lacking of who we are now. It's safe to see, it is easy to see why we're at where we're at now, regardless if it's white supremacy, Chinese supremacy, whatever supremacy. The way we love each other, anybody could supreme us. Anybody could dominate us the way black folks love each other, because we don't love each other at all. Okay? And so when you're talking about the chakras, you're talking about a root word, that ka, right, which is Ka, but they turn it into Cha. And then you're talking about the sun god, Ra, Chakra, right? And Chakra literally means your inner light, or a circle of light, or a sphere of light. When I go outside into the sky at night, I can see a sphere of light called the sun, Ra. When I go to church and they say, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. They were talking about the chakra. When they say we are in a solar system, our souls are in a system of reincarnation, of incarnating and leaving and coming and going. This is what the Bible says when the sons of God went to produce themselves to the Lord, and in came Satan. He said, where you want? Where did you come from? He said, about the earth to and fro, right? And so it lets you know that this is what we do. We travel to and fro between the heavens and the earth. This is why I say on earth as it is in heaven, may your will be done. And so when you analyze and put the pieces of the puzzle to, because remember, the story of Osiris is what? The story of Osir is what? That they killed him and chopped him into 14 pieces and removed his phallus, his manhood, the thing that makes him, the virility, the thing that makes him man, right? But it's the same thing that they've done with our spirituality. They've chopped it into pieces and spread it about the earth. And the Indian got a piece of it. The Australian got a piece of it. The Chinese got a piece of it. The Arab got a piece of it. You know, the Hispanic got a piece of it. The Jews got a piece. Everybody got a piece of us, right? And so when you look at the piece of us that, you look at the people who are using the piece of us spiritually and who are succeeding in that area the most, you got to go to India. In India, there are reports of people using our African spirituality and turning it into stories of levitation, stories of prolonging the body, living beyond hundreds and hundreds of years, like the Bible reported and told you. The Bible reports people living hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. They got stories and reports of people in India and in that Asian peninsula practicing yoga who was able to extend their lifespans hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, so remember, all of this technology was plagiarized and borrowed and stolen from our ancestors. All we have to do is just tap back into it because it's ours anyway. So when I've never been, as a reverend, I always followed this book, this verse in the Bible, Hosea 4:6, and it says, we perish because we lack knowledge, not because we got too much of it. And if you look at the Bible, the whole purpose of the thing that started this whole thing was what? The garden, right? And what was the thing that got Adam kicked out of the garden? Him attaining knowledge of good and evil. He just wouldn't walk around naked in the garden. He gained some knowledge of good and evil. And God said, let us move him out of the garden because he's become like us. So the serpent wasn't lying to Adam when he said, God lying. You bite the apple, you ain't gonna die. You're gonna become like us, one of us. Okay, so this is what they're doing us now. They'll say, hey, stay away from that practice over there. That's the devil. That's Satan. That's this. That's witchcraft. That's that. And it's all yours. All of it is stolen from black folk. And then got the nerve to go behind your back and worship the black version of you. They worship the black Madonna. They worship the black baby Jesus. In Europe, the powers that be on the hidden hand is called the black nobility. The Pope has to bow down on his knees and kiss the feet of the Moors. Last time I checked, the Moors' feet are bronze and made of fire like Christ. Y'all got to understand that we call it white supremacy, but last time I checked, white folk ain't never been able to do nothing on this earth without our sanction. So why are we looking at the puppets who are on the front end with the mask on and the puppetry, and we're not looking at who's been controlling this earth forever? And it's always been melanated people. And that fact has never changed. Okay, so when it comes to the chakras, that is a melanated topic. That is a melanated science. And as chakra doctor, remember, I fought hard just to get the name chakra doctor. And people telling me, what makes you think you are, the chakras are divine? What makes you think you are a doctor of divinity? Well, I'll show you. Okay, I'm the only black man on log right now patenting with his own yoga. No, everybody else practicing yoga, that's somebody else from another country than me. See, I'm practicing hatha yoga. That was created hundreds of years ago. I'm practicing restorative yoga. That was created before all the people who created those yogas are dead and gone. Okay, I'm talking about right now. I'm a current day African American or indigenous American, or whatever you like to identify yourself as. And I've brought to you a full-fledged yoga. It's a guided meditation. It's a stillness yoga. It's called FCA yoga. FCA stands for Full Chakra Activation. I named my company, My FCA 8. This is the very exercise that transformed my life into what I am today. And I give it away for free because something this great can't be bought. And to put a price on it would just be to disrespect divinity. And so I made sure that my pact with the spirit world was my greatest find, my greatest spiritual find ever. I'm going to give it away to humanity because it's better to give than to receive. And so I gave that away, and through giving that away, the great mother universe opened up doors and turned me into a genius and gave me the cure for AIDS, and she turned me into a genius and gave me the cure to run a company, and now my CFO is a self-made millionaire. I'm a 9th grade dropout. My CFO got more money than me, and I own the whole company. Let's God move in mysterious ways, and you got to understand the mysterious ways in which He moves. And one of the ways that in which He moves is to tells you in the story of Joseph, when Joseph was thrown down in a den and given away the slave to the slave owners. But everywhere Joseph went, Joseph always had the best place. No matter what part of hell Joseph was in, he had the best place in that part of hell. And Joseph went through a lot of hell. And at the end, he ended up being the most sought after person in all of the land because he went through what he went through, made it through it. And not only did he make it through it, his skills brought him to the top. And this is what we must do as black people. We are the story of Joseph. We are many colored. So get off the colorism stuff. Black is black is black is black because black is not a color. Black is the source of color. Let's understand source and that which is created by the source. Okay, you do not see black in a rainbow. Okay, when you look at the rainbow, black is not in that. The rainbow is coming from the blackness. Okay, when you go and stargaze at the sky, those stars are shining bright, but they're not outshining the triple black womb of the great mother universe. Okay, and so which lets us know that there is a infinite intelligence at play that's showing us through these signs and wonders what's going on inside of us. And those stars that you see in the sky, the Bible told you that those stars are inside of you. That sun you see in the sky, the Bible says that kingdom is inside of you. Lo, man, why you look here? Why do you look there? For the kingdom of God is within. And so the chakras are your heritage to the kingdom of God. And it is the number one reason why I'm able to do what I do without having to worry about retribution from the so-called powers that be. It is the reason why I'm able to wield the forces of sorcery at the highest level and unite it with Christianity, and Christian pastors and paganists alike say, I agree. Okay, it is the sole reason why I went from a 9th grade dropout to probably going to be arguably this world's Emotep in the flesh. Okay, it is the sole reason. It is the sole reason why I am here to not only join for the Black empowerment, but put my efforts forth and put the proof in the pudding and walk it more than I talk it. So I never got here because I did a YouTube channel. I got here because I built a company, and my company got popping, and I said, okay, let me put it on YouTube. And I didn't put it on YouTube by making videos. I said, hey, Lord Jamar, I'm gonna pay you market my product. Do you want to market? You want to make a revenue stream, black man? Hey, Sam Ant, black man, do you want to make a revenue stream? I'm marketing my product. Hey, Crumb TV, black man, do you want to make an extra revenue stream? Come on, man, market this product. It's gonna help black people heal themselves. Okay, and so any person, be it influencer or whatever, who is willing to, work with me, they get that. But it all started with FCA yoga. Me going down to New Orleans and activating the 13-year-olds, the 14-year-olds, the 15-year-olds. When you go on my channel, you'll see me You see, and he was a Kappa. A Kappa invited me to a high school, and I did FCA yoga at the high school in San Bernardino, California.
Wait. You telling me that you did some work for the Illuminati?
I did some work, and I did some work for the Illuminati, and I wanted to tell you that too. Like I tell my people, I said this is like Harry Potter. I said if you go on that scene in Harry Potter where the magicians are sitting there, you have your light side magicians and your dark side magicians, and they're a council. You know, I tell people that Satan is an agent of the Lord, and I tell people that without the devil, you guys wouldn't know how to make it, because what's going to challenge you? What's going to? I think, and God can't be omnipotent and omnipresent, and that presence is exempt from the devil. Okay, so I always tell people that this game that the infinite intelligence has us going through to learn ourselves and relearn ourselves through these cycles. They told you ain't nothing new under the sun. This is not nothing new. We've been here before. We've done this multiple times, right? And this
True indeed, God. True
right.
indeed.
And so this
True
is
indeed.
what our ancestor teaches us, and these teachings are not new. These teachings have just been snuffed by certain so-called, I don't even like to call them powers, because that's not real power. Real power is not control. Real power is not wielding oppression. That's not power. That is fear. That is weakness. That is basically you not willing to accept the truth of what's real. This is why you got to do through all the terroristic acts. Okay, so FCA yoga, I was healing people with FCA yoga. I'm talking about people in wheelchairs. Man, listen, ain't nothing. Listen, story, right? Give you a story. Man, paralyzed. He's 40 years old. He got shot in his back since he was 19. He's been paralyzed since he was 19 years old. He starts doing FCA yoga. Called me crying, telling me that he could feel his dick again. This is why I do. This is why I do this. You see, I don't do this to be seen a minute. I got so many people who I could call up and be like, hey, man, I need that testimonial and put that pressure. But why I do that, right? I feel like there's a certain level of mastery to where something is going to take its own life when it goes viral. And you don't have to ask nobody to give a testimonial. Your gifts and your fruits and the labels of your work will speak for itself. And there's a marketing that you cannot fabricate, and that's called a word of mouth marketing. And I came in the game when I told Gandhi, when Gandhi invested $150,000 into me as a person in this business, and I incorporated this spiritual brand. I told him that I'm not in this for the money. If you about to give me this check, then we can't do this for the money, right? When I sat down and talked with the Gujarati Society of Southern California, and I sat down with the Patel family, Mr. B.U. Patel, in the $184 billion fortune, I let them know, man, I could care less about the fortune. A soul is worth way more than $184 billion. One soul. One is worth way more than $184 billion. So you can never sell me. You can never sell me on, money, right? Because people are the money. I'd rather a billion people than $1 billion any day. So this game has always been about connecting and helping our people first and foremost, but all people. I work with all people. When I started this brand, I had to do a marketing strategy to even get my people to like me. Right. I had to become successful amongst the Indians, and I had to become successful amongst the Latinos, and I had to become successful amongst the whites. I was the only black man walking around town with the white people calling me their boss. See, this is why I was able to astonish people when I walked up, because the white man or the white lady gonna say, my boss Rance Dunbar is in the car. He needs you to do this or that or the third. You see, I always moved like a rich nigga before the riches ever touched the bank account. I always stepped into my glory before the glory was ever placed on me. I always believed that there was more before I ever seen that there was more. And so this is the law of the universe. And it's all because of the chakras, me tapping into my chakras. I activated Crumb. After Crumb, listen, I activated Crumb the other day, a day or two ago. Man, I activated Crumb TV. Crumb was silent like this. Right, and that's the one thing people give me.
If you silence Crumb,
bro, I'll get Crumb on it. I'll get Crumb on his phone right now. Crumb, come on here. Tell him about that activation, bro. And I activated it. And I activated his chakras, man. And And I told him, I said, that's why they call me Lucifer, the light bringer, because I actually bring the light. Do you feel light inside of your body, Crow? Yeah, I feel light. Right, when you close your eyes and say all chakras activate, you feel all of that light and that particle wave quark energy flowing through your Higgs bosons, through your cells, through your atoms, and through your molecules. Do you feel that? Yes, I said, this is the light that's within. So this is why I call myself Christ, Lucifer, eternal prophet, the immortal Ra in the flesh, because I am bringing the light. And I'm not scared to let it shine. And I'm going to let it shine on all things that it needs to be shined on. I'm not shining the light in unnecessary places. I'm only shining the light in the places that need it.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Like the song says, I call my son a son because they shine like sun. Hey, so
I can walk you
you
guys
do,
through it, bro. Like we
yeah,
can
yeah,
act
that's
it,
what I was about to go to. I was about to go to, but before you walk us through it, Brother Minister Zumbi, who is what is it? A metaphysical minister. Talk that talk, bro. What do you think? You just heard from the good brother, the chakra doctor. You know, the people are popping in. They're like, yes. Miss Jelly says, yes. um, before we allow him to walk us through I call it the alignment. He just called it a different term. But my FCA yoga. What are you thinking, Zumbi? What are you thinking, man?
There's one question that did pop up, during the brothers' dialogue. And I'm kind of a novice when it comes to chakras, like I know the basics, but I'm interested to know which chakra governs our economics and which chakra, if it's not in alignment, gives us trouble with our economics.
Ooh, that's juicy.
And so when you're talking about the chakras, then you're talking about all of them, because there's no higher economics than spiritual economics. And when you're talking about the chakras, you're talking about a spiritual ordination and a spiritual practice of divinity. And so let's understand economics, the action of activity stimulating movement of trade, buying, trading, and selling. And understand that action cannot be possible had there not be spirits inside of the bodies animating the action. And when you're talking about Black people, the main thing that Black people need to do is heal. And so this is why I got into a health and wellness part, because because how are we going to have Black economics if we're not living long enough to spend the Black money to build the Black institutions, to see them to fruition and pass them on to our generations in wealth? Okay, how are we going to? Last time I checked, Philip died at 99. Prince Philip died at 99, but DMX died at 50. That's a 49-year head start that he just had again. Okay, and when you look at how fast Black men are dying, then you'll understand that there is a sickness inside of our people, and this sickness is a big telltale sign that we are in need of something that is not physical in order to get to this physical destination that we're trying to get to. A lot of times we think it's economics, but how can I be the best economist if I am not my best person? So you're going to sit at the boardroom with me, right? All right. So I'm about to come do this business, and we're about to do Black economics with you, right? Okay. But you're suffering from diabetes and heart failure. So one day this Black economics is going to meet the trouble of your diabetes and your heart failure, or your previous health history, right? But we don't even know. Wait a minute. We can heal this, promote longevity of living, and that longevity of living will produce a wealthy economic state, because I guarantee you, by the time you get it right, by the time you make it to 100, hey, you might still make a few mistakes when you're 50, but by the time you're 80, I guarantee all the mistakes are going to be covered. Okay, but you gotta make it to 80. We're not making it to 60 without needing a pill. Okay, so even though the life expectancy amongst Caucasians is the 70s, the 70-ish and things of that nature, the life expectancy amongst Black people is lower. And because we are not looking at the part that it takes to make healthy economics, and that is healthy bodies that are promoting the healthy economics. How can I watch the rhythm and patterns of economics if I'm on a dialysis machine? You got black people, you know. How can I make it to the board meetings and I got cancer, or I got breast cancer, or I got these toxicities floating in my body, right? Or how can you gotta understand that we have to put a pause on the brakes. And right now, black people need to cocoon themselves. Cocoon yourself, right? Start heal your mind, heal your body, heal your spirit, heal your soul. Then come to the economic table, because then I know for a fact the best you is coming to the economic table, and I'm not gonna get no watered down, toxic, disease you with a disease thought process. Because when you got disease in your body, you're gonna think in a disease way. You're gonna present a disease PowerPoint to your economics. I'm about to get a PowerPoint to a diseased economics, simply because the author of that economics is thinking from a disease perspective. While he's creating the economics, he's worrying about his insulin he got to go take. While he's creating the economics, he's worrying about, I got to take my medicine because of my anxiety and my blood pressure. While he's doing the economics, he got to go to sleep a little early, because if he don't go to sleep a little early and he misses sleep cycles, his endometriosis will start acting up, or whatever the fuck, whatever the hell we got going on with us. We got all kind of stuff wrong with us. So why not get healthy first, and then let's start sitting at the economic table, right, from a healthy perspective. We can see with healthy eyes and come to the table with a healthy mind. But how are we going to make it somewhere when you put the whole table and panel of economists are poison? Talking about poison. Notice when we do panels as black people, we sit down and we talk about nothing but problems. We talk about nothing but problems. Right? And all of the people that's with the solutions, we're not even holding them accountable. Who are the people with solutions? All of the millionaires and billionaires in our community that call themselves our leader, making all that money off of our $2 trillion economy that we make out of this economy, and we ain't seeing nothing from it. This is why I got a problem with everybody who calling themselves our leader. Because how can you call yourself our leader, but there is nothing created to show you leading us as a whole people, 40 million of us in here. Okay, and you just can't cater to the ones who love Allah. You got to cater to the ones who don't love Allah. You got to cater to the ones who might not feel what that Bible talking about, but they still look like you. They still represent you as a whole, and they still could be the next black economist that's going to help this movement take leaps and forwards and bounds ahead. But how are we going to ever get there if we too sick to make it there?
I love that, bro. I love that. Let's go, as the rappers say, when I walk through. So give me the walkthrough, man.
So the walkthrough of FCA yoga is a yoga of stillness. All right. And the great thing about stillness is the Bible tells you about stillness. You should be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth the fruit in its season. Your leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever ye do, it shall prosper. We have to start being like trees. So that's the number one thing about this yoga. It is a yoga rooted in stillness. You're not going to have to do all kind of crazy movements or anything like that. You're going to be sitting down upright in your chair like you are now, and you're going to be focused and still. All right. The second thing it implores is your imagination. The word imagination, the root word of imagination is image. The images that you can desire or make yourself see within. Okay, because when you go on doing FCA yoga, our eyes will be closing. I will be taking you guys on a journey inside of you. Okay, and so you're gonna have an imagination in order to start the process, but the process takes a life of its own once your imagination starts it. Okay, and then that's part 2, and then part 3 is breathing. Okay. So, I wanted to keep it hip because I got a lot of, young people who do the yoga, and I got a lot of elders who do the yoga, but all of them can relate to this one thing. We've all have seen someone hit the weed, because in FCA yoga, there is a way that we breathe, and the name of that exercise is called hit the weed. Okay. And the reason why it's called hit the weed,
I used to see your posters like hit the weed, and I was like, that's interesting, because you would say hit the weed, and then you say something that would be like really accurate, man. I was like,
But
oh,
what about
you gotta
what
take.
about the people who can't smoke weed, right? But they still want to smoke vicariously, right? I got a meditation where they can smoke vicariously, and
Continue. I love that, man. Hit the weed. Hit the
yeah,
weed. Go ahead.
because of the way you breathe is in through your mouth and out through your mouth, like you're hitting the roach, like somebody hitting the roach, and you're. And you get to the top of your breath and you hold it 1,000, 2, 1,000, and you release the smoke. So do a practice, hit the weed breath with me. Ready? Go, hit the weed. Hold, and then release. And that is the FCA yoga breath. It's called hit the weed. Okay. And when I tell when we get to a certain chakra, we hit the weed and let the energy filtrate through that chakra. And you feel it deeper. You feel the FCA yoga more when you breathe deep. And remember, the Bible told you that we became animated through the breath of life. So it is our breath that shall remain to give us life if we only take time out to breathe. And remember, there's a science behind it as well. In through your mouth and out through your mouth is what I call digesting or eating air. When I inhale through my mouth, it goes down through my esophagus and hits my stomach, and the air molecules and the air, those air particles, they are particleized and they are accepted by my stomach, right? And the air gets to go down here into my intuitive mind. They call that your hunch mind. When you say I got butterflies in my stomach, that was a hunch. When you say, you got to say it with the pit, say it from the pit of your stomach. They're talking about your solar plexus. And they're talking about the nerves that's inside of your intestines and all of this. And all of these things, they call it your second mind or your hunch mind. And so I send that air down there because a lot of us forget about that mind, that intuitive mind that lets us know, hey, man, I think you shouldn't mess with that. I don't know what it is, but don't mess with that. That's your hunch mind. That's your solar plexus, right? And so when you're sending the air down there, you're sending the air to your stomach, and you're sending the air to the places that actually need some oxygen as well. When you breathe in through your nose, the oxygen goes in and straight to your brain, and your brain oxidizes the H2 the oxygen molecules before it makes it down to the rest of your body. But when you breathe in through your mouth, it goes down through your esophagus and into your stomach and in your intestines, and you're giving yourself an actual true breath of fresh air. So this is why we breathe in through our mouth and out through our mouth, and you feel it more intense when you breathe in through your mouth and out through your mouth. So those are, and number 4, frequency. I have some copywritten free Hertz frequencies. They're copyright free Hertz frequencies. And
Wait. Hertz frequencies. Are you speaking like
well,
are we talking about sounds?
not so much as sound, not so much as but instruments like birds chirping, nature, nature sounds, sounds of just instrumentals, like instrumentals. And because I'm a big fan of making sure that when you hear the sound, you can put your own song to it, right? A lot of us hear sounds in different ways. So I only employ words in FCA yoga when I'm on Zoom, and I'm able to play the music that is not copyright free because Zoom is not going to flag me or like YouTube will. But when I do YouTube FCA yogas, I only do instrumental, copyright free instrumentals, and those copyright free instrumentals don't have anybody's voice on it. And you'll find that music heightens your sense of the yoga, even though you can do it without music.
Okay.
Whenever I do it with people, I incorporate music when possible. But
right,
I created this without music. I only added that as a news pizzazz to get the youth into it. And the youth love it, when they can meditate and still listen to their favorite hip hop song. You know what I mean? And so,
quick question, Doc. One of our guests asked the question: 435 hertz or 565 hertz?
So these are just plain instrumentals, like no copyright instrumental, inspirational instrumental, no copyright instrumental. All of that is Hertz frequencies. Now, what these people created their Hertz frequencies on, you know, a lot of people might go into that realm of, oh, if it's 440, it's evil. There's no such thing as an evil sound. Okay, the only thing, as far as coming from an instrument, the only thing I always tell people is that, you know, everybody has been brought up a different way into perceiving what sounds are. So some people might say this sound is good or this sound is bad, but that's only because of their perception and how they were brought up. Sounds in and of themselves are neither good nor bad. It's the intention of the person that is using the sound that makes it good or bad. Just like a gun. The gun in itself is neither good nor bad. It is the intention with the person carrying the gun that makes it good or bad.
Okay, man, I love this.
Yeah,
I love this.
And so it's man, and listen, my Christians love it, bro. This is how I network with my Christians. You know what I'm saying? This is how I network with my Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Because they still get to keep Allah with FCA yoga. You still get to keep Jesus with FCA yoga. You still get to keep, because all we're doing is just hopping on the magic school bus and going and activating our chakras. We're not calling out to no God and, you know, all of this type of stuff, right? That might be a barrier that gets in the way of our Afro-economics, because a lot of times, another reason why we can't build economically as Africans is because of our belief systems. And so the Hoteps can't build with the Hebrew Israelites because they're too busy fighting over God.
Yeah, we can't even get along. We can't even get along.
Right. And the Nation of Islam can't, you know, the Nation of Islam definitely ain't about to build with the Moors and all of this type of stuff, because, you know, they got these ideologies that are driving a wedge in between their economics. And nobody ever employed the common sense that says, that's why it's called a belief system. That's your personal belief. Your personal belief should not get in the way of how you do business with your people. Your people should come first. And no matter what religion you believe in, you're supposed to have a religion that says my people first religion too. That's supposed to be tossed in there with your religion. You know, I love me and my people first. Why? Because everybody else love their people first and are making success of it. So, you know, we just got to break from that Jim Crow law programming, man, and break from that that slave programming that we have been indoctrinated under, and FCA yoga is one of those things that help us face that, you know, because the light is within.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, I mean, you created my FCA yoga, and you also talk about, and I love this, man. I love this, money magic. So, yo, where they do that at, man? Tell us about that, man.
Yeah, man. So I always tell people, you know, that people are the money. When you're talking about money, you would not be able to do anything with money or buy anything with money had not been people to make that available. That particular thing that you're doing with that money. When you go buy something from a store, that was a person that created that store for you to buy something from. When the store is wanting your money, that is a person who is going to bring the store that money. That's why you opened the store. Okay. So the number one thing that we forgot about money and economics is that it takes a high level of frequency of positivity in order to attract wealth and abundance. Okay. So a big thing, a reason why we can't get down on Black economics, because too many Black people think with a poverty mind. That's where the rich dad, poor dad come in. That what you were talking about. Okay. We think too much in the terms of lack, and we think too much in the terms of what we don't have and the have-nots, never thinking in the terms of, you know, be ye fruitful and multiply. Okay. And so by us not thinking in those terms, right, that go to book right there. And by us not thinking in those terms, we have cut ourselves off from a certain level of abundance. We're cutting ourselves off from a certain level of wealth because we do not employ the spirit, the energy techniques or the spiritual techniques that it takes to manifest certain levels of wealth. You know, you might go to work and get a job and get your little money and get your little check. That's little money, but if you wanted to, you know, you want that Bentley and you want that Rolls and you want that $800,000 home sitting on 5 acres, and you know, you want that, you know, you want that life that you see in the videos and the movies. And if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to be a person who is willing to put in a high amount of positive vibration into what you're trying to accomplish. And money magic is all about that. But money magic goes deeper. It is actual. I told you, I'm not only a Christian reverend and minister, I'm also a sorcerer. okay? And I show people how the Bible is magic. And King David, look at him. He was serving a God, had a whole kingdom, huh? Wives on wives on wives on wives, riches on riches, success on success, money on fortune on fortune on fortune. Then his son Solomon got it, and it kept on getting passed down. Huh? When you look at all the prophets of God, Job had how many children with how many wives and how many sheep and how many oxen with how many this. And go look at all of the men of God in the Bible, and they were not broke. Mm-hmm. They were not broke people. Okay? So the misconception that we have with spirituality and our religion, our social, or whatever you call the invisible world, is that we think that to get heavily involved in that world, you must shun making a livelihood, or you must shun your birthright of wealth and abundance. And that's simply just not true. The reason why Jesus didn't congregate with the Pharisees and Sadducees, not because they were rich, is because what they were doing with their riches that made them evil. Okay, so Jesus never criticized the Pharisees and the Sadducees as people. He criticized what they were doing to the people as people. And this is what made, not because because they were this or they were that. No, simply because their actions were speaking antichrist. Okay, how are you going to be this rich but all these people out here suffering, and I got to come out here and heal them? This is what Christ's saying when he out here, right? Like this man got an issue blood. Like, wait a minute, Rome got all these coins and you got all this money around here, and Pharisees and Sadducees doing all of this big money, big business, but the people are suffering. So that's why he ran into the temple and ran them out of the temple and flipped the money changers tables over. Jesus didn't care about money, because money, spirituality will make money come. And if you're robbing the Father's house, you're robbing the potter's house, right? Then guess what? You got to get back to basics, because in order to understand, Judas, what it took for you to betray Christ for them 30 pieces, you got to understand that there's a spiritual law that attracted those 30 pieces to you. That's why they came to you and say, hey, Judas, you won't get Jesus? Why? Because they knew, and they was able to feel your energy, so they came at you. See? That was an energy that made them come at you like that, and you agreed with it. That was an energy that Jesus felt and said, thou betrayed me with a kiss. He didn't know. You didn't show no overt sign that you betrayed him. It was your body language. So it was the energy. It was the money. The way you carried yourself is money. And so we don't understand that the ancient African Kemetic sciences are magic. We called it Hekal, okay? And it is said that the Neteru are the gods of the Egyptian pantheon or the Kemetic pantheon build the whole universes with Hekal. It is also said that Hekal is the god of the gods, because all gods use magic in order to create worlds. When a person, if you could create a world, let's look at this. God created the earth in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. That's magic. How can you create an earth in how can you create a world, a solar system, in 6 days? And then rest on the 7th like you was out working at the construction job and it's your Sunday and it's your day off. That's magic. A burning bush that talks to you and you don't see nobody talking to you is magic. If you can split the Red Sea with a staff and all your people are able to make it through, as soon as your people make it through, all the other people drown, that's magic. If you're able to take that same staff and turn it into a snake, and the other magicians in Egypt turn their 2 staffs into a snake, and they battle each other, and your snake win, you just won some battle magic. If you're able to catch a talking donkey, Balaam and the talking donkey in the Bible, there's a talking donkey. I could go watch Shrek right now and see a talking donkey by the movie magic of Disney. And you're trying to tell me that these stories that the Bible itself admits are an allegory in Galatians 4:22-24. The Bible admits that the story of Abraham is an allegory, and we still are going back and forth, beefing with one another as if these stories weren't borrowed from Black people, stolen from Black people, plagiarized from Black people, like the term Jesus is real, and that's a 450-year-old letter. Like they didn't steal the story of Ra and then turn it into the story of Zeus and then turn it into the story of Lucifer. Let's understand what's really going on in these cosmos, and you'll understand why they say if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. And the number one thing that they're putting they're hiding from you is your heritage and divinity. And your heritage and divinity has been and always will be magic. That's why I think they got that movie. I mean, that movement is called Black Girl Magic. They could have said Black Girl Tenacity. They could have said Black Girl. They could have said Black Girl anything. They decided to put magic on the Black girl. Notice how every single thing that the Caucasian gets away with, that he needs the magic of the triple black womb. When he wanted to promote feminism, he had to go get the Black women to make that movement pop off. When he wanted to promote LGBTQ, he had to go get the Black women to make that movement pop off. Whenever movement that pops off in this United States, it's the Black women that are the pioneers of that movement, are the marketers and advertisers of that movement. It is the Black women that go 85% of people to church. Okay, 85% of the parishioners that's going to church are Black women. Okay, so it's something behind this Black girl magic that we just don't want to acknowledge in the Black community. But last time I checked, the way Haiti got from up under the Caucasians' rule, he did not do it with the gun, because the Bible says, "Yea, we war not against flesh and blood." We don't war against no flesh and blood. This is not a flesh and blood war. They call this thing a war in heaven. And they said on earth as it is in heaven. So if they got a war in heaven, what make you think they're going to have peace on earth? And they got a war in heaven.
Ooh.
Let's talk about this now. Y'all expecting peace. Last time I checked you, it's a war going on in heaven. So how you screaming peace and the war is still going on in heaven? And it says, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." So if God's will being done in heaven and there's a war going on, then God's will, then that microcosm is going to manifest in our microcosmic world. You're going to see wars going on in the fabric of society simply because God going through a war in heaven. So we just got to wake up to these easy, that's as above, so below, easy, spiritual, magical common sense, right? I call that magical common sense. These are the common senses that come to you when you start reallocating and reclaiming that which was stolen from you. Because they call it Kabbalah, but that's stolen Black people spirituality called Kabbalah. They call it witchcraft, but that's stolen Black people African spirituality that's called witchcraft. They call it black magic, and they try to put that on Black people. But anciently, all shamans, every shaman knows that the all-white party is the all-death party. And we know that white actually means the absence of all color, with the removing of the presence of God, because God is the melanin that flows through us. And this is why we're able to digest and process the sun at a higher rate of speed, and they're still trying to figure out why it's burning them. So we have to understand that there's levels to this shift. And all I'm here to do is
yo, repeat that, man. Repeat that, man. There's levels to this shift.
Yeah, there's levels to this shift. And, the Bible says there are those of us who will be left behind, and there are those of us who will make the rapture. And people don't understand, metaphysical, metaphorical, allegorical data. Okay. And that's where we make the mistake at. You see? And so Jesus is inside of you. And if you want to tap inside, and remember, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Okay. And it says God is the light. And then Jesus come and reiterate and say, "I am the bright morning star" in Revelations 22:16. Jesus reiterates and said, "I am the bright and morning star." Once again, there go that light. Okay. So this little light of mine, man, we got to let it shine, bro. And that's the gist of it.
And so where's the money come in? Or did I miss it?
Oh, I told you. So the money, remember. So the money magic.
I'm all about the money, man.
So the money, so the money magic is this. So I've created a method. I created a method of writing computer algorithms. Right? These computer algorithms are infused with words of sorcery. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, abracadabra type of spiel. And it involves every religion, and it involves every spiritual practice, even the bad ones that you don't like. And we practice them in word, reclaiming them and activating them within the kingdom of heaven within us. Okay? And when you do that, when people have done that through these algorithms, they have seen overwhelming, life-changing shifts in life on a positive level. Okay? People staying out. I got my people not going to jail. I got my brothers who are doing it not getting harassed by the police. I got my sisters doing it. All of a sudden, their baby daddy calling them, talking about they won't pay child support. I got my brothers over here doing it, getting a raise at work. He got a raise at work. He just got a $10 raise at work. They ain't never. That's unprecedented at his job. $10 raise, right? But the boss love him so much after doing Money Magic. He got a $10 raise. I got the other dude. Guess what? I did magic for him. A 80-year-old sugar mama husband him and bought him a car, a condo, and all he got to do is take care of her till she die and inherit whatever in her will. See, look, it comes. Notice how I told you all those scenarios, and all those scenarios involved people. You cannot acquire a massive amount of money if you do not have the people who are going to dig in their pockets and give it to you. So the money magic, the first thing that it does, it makes you a better people person. Okay? And when you're a better people person, people have a higher percentage in saying that they want to invest in you, spend their money with you, go into business with you. Like I told you, my business partner is a self-made millionaire, invested $150,000. Money magic. I was already working on my business. You see, it didn't just drop out the sky. I was already working on my business, running across $1 million, and he invested into my business. Money magic, right? I tell people all the time, money magic just opens up the avenues that you already have available waiting on you. Okay? And the first way that it does that is by, number one, attracting you to the right people that is going to point you to the right sources of hidden treasures and hidden wealth. And then open up your mind to avenues that you would have never taken to get to certain hidden treasures of resources of money. And the number one thing that people always report with the money magic is how great they feel about life before the money even starts to come. It's like, man, I did the money magic. I read the algorithm, right? And you know, you can go on my YouTube and you see a lot of people always reading algorithms on my YouTube. And they always say, after I read the algorithm, I just felt so good. Everything just felt so good, and I just felt so great. And that's the first law to attracting true money. You gotta feel good about money. Money is like a shy virgin woman who you are trying to court to marry. Okay? You can't come on too strong, or you will run her away.
Absolutely.
But you can't be too shy, or she will see you as weak and move on. And that's how money is. You can't be too aggressive in getting money. But at the same time, you can't be too passive. You got to travel that middle ground, or that 50, they call it the 50 shades of gray. You got to travel within that gray realm. And that's where the biggest money is found, in the gray realm. Because I've had people, right? You ready for this? I started my company in 2016. It's 2021. And the people who said I wouldn't make it in 2016 just bought Miracle Food in 2021. You can't.
All right.
Money magic. You see, the same people who said that Chakra Doctor will not succeed are coming back and apologizing and saying, man, I know I told you this. I know I told you that. I'm about to support and get some Miracle Food, right? I go and ask my people who I'm sponsoring, right? I go to ask people who I'm sponsoring, do you get any negative complaints? Not one negative complaint from nobody. Money magic. Because the money magic is not, we think cash and dollars and numbers on the screen is money. No. The human being that spends time to pay attention is the money, because time is money, and human beings are the only ones that can pay time with that thing we call attention. And energy flows where attention goes. So if we are not looking at ourselves as the ultimate real estate, if we are not looking, remember when back in the day when the records before the record industry was taken over and hijacked by the gay mafia, they used to have a way that A&R was called Artists and Repertoire, right? And they had a section in the A&R section was called Artist Development, where they worked with the artist for 1, 2, 3 years before they launched the artist's career. They see where the artist is going to go, and they said, we're going to work with you behind the scenes, and then we're going to have the perfect launch for you, so you're going to have an immense success. But the thing that they were seeing that made that wrong was they were actually creating successful people and not subservient people. And this is not what they wanted, right? And I always tell people that when you're practicing sorcery and when you're practicing magic, it will always show you the avenues of people, places, and things that are actually intentionally practicing sorcery and magic, and they're just doing it unknowingly, and they're just going along with the flow. They're just a sheep being herded along by the shepherd. But yes, right. it brings. But to be clear, it brings increasing quantities from continuous sources. Okay, increasing quantities of incomes on a continuous sources. Whether that income be people giving you gifts, whether that income people giving you favors, whether that income is people buying from your website. If you got a website and you got products on your website, you're going to see an influx in sales on the website. Period. That's just the way the money magic works. It removes abundance blockers. Any kind of ideology that you have that works against money, the money magic is going to slowly but surely work on you to change that ideology. Any kind of ways you shoot yourself in the foot that repels money and don't attract money, the money magic is going to start shaping those aspects of your character slowly but surely into a beneficial state, so you don't shoot yourself in the foot anymore. It's a wonderful program. This is how I got Dr. Gandhi to invest in me. I activated Dr. Gandhi's chakras, and then after I did the money sorcery, he was like, "I'm sold. Here you go, 6 figures."
So the money magic made you a 6-figure.
Man, the money magic has completely like I told you what FCA did my spirit. Right. I'm trying now. Let's talk about what money magic then did. What money magic did my economics. I get to wake up every morning and don't leave my house. I don't have to answer to nobody but me. Full-fledged entrepreneur. I get to feed my family and other people's family and get to employ people. And I get to do what I love to do and not what I'm forced to do or not what I got to bargain to do or not what I got to pay off a debt to do. But I do what I love to do. All of my bills are paid. All of my debts are cleared, right? My student loan debt, I had a big student loan debt I paid off. I don't want Uncle Sam talking about I owe him nothing. I wanted to pay it off the right way. I don't want no forgiveness or none of that. I borrowed it from you. I wanted to give it back to you, right? I accomplished. Man, I don't even dream no more because I'm living my dream, right? I always tell people that you never know your true potential until you tap into your true potential. And we always wonder what our true potential is, but that'll only leave us at wishing and wondering. We'll never truly know until we tap into it. And when I took the plunge into the world of reclaiming what was stolen from us in the forms of magic and sorcery, my life's seen an immediate pay raise and hasn't went down since. The tree just keeps growing and bearing more fruit. And like I told you before, when I become a millionaire, y'all gonna see I'm gonna do just like the rappers and have a millionaire party. I'm gonna have $150,000 right here with a violin going like the TV show The Godfather. I'm gonna have a 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 Godfather of the Godfather violin. With a big old honey bun. They call it, the youth call it a honey bun. $100,000, a honey bun. They call it a honey bun, right? I'm gonna have a whole honey bun on my arm. Yeah, come get your money magic today. Call me now for your free reading. I'm just gonna be on live all day. All day with just a block of money. Come get your algorithm. Man, this nigga do it 12, 13, 14, 15 hour lives. All he do is just sit there with money. Yep. That's it. Because then that's going to be the ultimate proof. That's going to be the ultimate proof that not only did the money magic take me from nothing to something, but it took me from nothing to millionaire, billionaire. I'm trying to become the first black trillionaire with this miracle food, man, healing AIDS and cancer and incurable disease.
I say that. That reminds me of that new Rick Ross song, "Richer Than I Ever Been."
I'm rich. Not Rick Ross. That's Rod Wave.
No. Rick Ross just dropped the new album, and there's a song on there called "Richer Than I Ever Been." Yeah.
Oh, that's Rod Wave got a song called I'm richer than I ever been. I'm richer
Yeah.
than I
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
been. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Black people, and that's truth though. And this is why I always say like people my age are the bridge between the youth and the elders, because I'm moving into that elder stage, but at the same time I still have the parts of my youth attached to me as well. So this is why the youth can resonate with me so well. And one of the things that our youth is that we've ever been in Black people, our Black people are richer than we've ever been in the history of Black people. So this is a plus in the economic field. All we have to do is gain a spiritual insight so that we can grasp true economics. Like, you can't grasp true economics if you don't know how that invisible world works, because the invisible world is what governs economics, right? And so Black people, no matter what our belief system, master it. I don't care if you're a Christian, master being a Christian and actually walk like Christ walked, talk like Christ talked. And what would Jesus do? And actually be a Christian. I don't care if you're a Muslim, master Islam and become the new walking Muhammad. Okay, I don't care if you're a Buddhist, master Buddhism. I don't care if you're a Pan-Africanist, master Pan-Africanism, and show us and become the first Pan-African millionaire that we got $1 million off Pan-Africanism. You got to show us the successful mode in order for us to bite into the economics. Okay, so my only strategy to win Black people over is becoming successful with this plan. Not, I'm doing this and I'm poor man pimping asking for donations. I don't need your damn donations. Your donations can't feed my dream. My dream needs something bigger than your donations. Okay?
I say, okay. Okay. Okay.
What?
Well, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yo, the algorithm did not want him up. Yo,
oh yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, you back.
Yeah, the algorithm.
I wanted
they be battling me on the algorithm. Google do be doing that to me. But
yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the good folks of Black Podcasting. It's a new app. As a matter of fact, the Get On Code Show is on that app. You can check the Get On Code Show, Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham, What's Your Revolution with Dr. Charles Corprew. Those are all the shows that I do a production on. So you can find all of those shows on the Black Podcasting app. Your favorite Black podcasts are up there. Check it out. Check it out. So I just want to give them a great shout out. Oh, so yo, Zombie. I got to give you a chance. See, Zombies like our intellectuals. I'm like the hype man. Yeah, Zombie's an intellectual. You know, he's the physics dude. So metaphysically speaking, brother Zombie, what the Chakra Doctor just talked about in terms of money magic. How does that hit into what we teach and what we learn in metaphysics?
Well, I'll take a page from our ancestor, Reverend Ike. And he always talked about things happening on 3 levels: the ether, the psychic, and then the material. Everything begins in the ether. Okay. And then from the ether, it formulates into the psychic. And then from the psychic, it moves into the material. Another thing that I don't know if the Chakra Doctor realized it, part of what he calls money magic is your ability to create value. Okay. Whatever product or whatever service it is that can either fill a demand in the market or you create a demand in the market. Okay. By creating value. And then one other thing, we talk about organization. Kwame Ture was always telling us to organize. And in my study and research, the one thing that I noticed about the rich and the wealthy is their ability to organize people, information, and resources to work in their favor. Okay. Am I missing anything, Chakra Doctor?
Oh, you're very on point. I would like to elaborate on that part where you were talking about it comes from the ether and then to the psychic and then to the material. And I tell people, I tell people that's the Trinity code, everybody. Your spirit, your soul, your chakras, that's the ether. Remember, and they said the mind is over matter, but they never told you it was over the mind. And the ether, spirit, is over the mind. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't think that we can control our own mind. A lot of people hear voices in their head and end up in mental hospitals, and they can't control their own mind, never knowing that you have the power to off and on switch in your own mind. You can see what you want to see, be what you want to be, say what you want to say, and do what you want to do. And the fact that it takes the ether world to pass it on to the mental world, and the mental world passes it on to the physical world, just shows you once again that triangle offense like they do in basketball.
Ashe.
Yeah. Okay. So now, Minister, we're gonna take a little departure, man. We talked about the money magic. We talked about the chakra alignment through the yoga. Here's the one that's gonna be the real interesting one. Here's the real interesting one. Jab exemptions.
Oh yes.
So
man,
so first of all, man,
right there. I love that. I love being available for that. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm glad you prefaced that. All right, why is this important? How does this empower us? And what do you do?
Well,
and before you answer, I will admit that I'm part of the Great American Experiment already. All right.
Okay.
So, like you said in the last show, I chose my side.
well, I can only speak being in New York State. I'm in Albany, so about 2.5 hours north of New York City. Okay. There's been a fight to take away all exemptions. The last exemption that has been fought over, at least in New York State, is the religious exemption. Okay. The new governor, Kathy Hochul, wants to take all exemptions off the table. But there was a federal judge in Utica that blocked that mandate. So if you're in New York State, you still have a religious exemption, to my knowledge. Okay. The other thing that I'm a little leery about is this. If you tell me that this vaccine is beneficial, then there's...
Wait. We can't use the word vaccine. We got
Francine.
Okay, so if you tell me that this thing is beneficial, there really should be no need to incentivize, coerce, intimidate, shame me into taking it. Okay. Another thing, at least for African people, remember Tuskegee.
Remember.
Okay.
Ooh.
Because my attitude is, if it can be done once, it can be done again.
Human beings are creatures of habit.
Okay. And then another thing is,
you can do a whole lot of things there, brother.
Yeah. Well, and then here's the other thing. Okay. Why are you pushing this particular option versus pushing lifestyle changes? Okay. No one's talking about exercise. No one's talking about improving your nutrition, getting proper rest. All of those things that don't require a prescription, if you will. Okay. It's like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But nobody's talking about making lifestyle changes. Okay. I'll give you an example. When COVID first hit, everything was shut down except liquor stores. Okay.
You serious?
Yo.
Hey, look here.
You serious?
Yeah.
Put on your 10.
Okay.
Put on your tinfoil koofies, y'all.
Now,
you know.
Okay.
Put on your tinfoil koofies.
The only thing that remained open was liquor stores. Now you had laundromats; they were still open, but the liquor stores, and I couldn't figure out why. Okay.
Oh, I knew.
Well,
state run. That's the state income. That's the state income.
Of course.
Right, because an elderly Italian woman that I know, she said 2 words to me: liquor tax. And that solved it for everything. Because think about it. if you have to shut down houses of worship, libraries and bookstores, and gyms and fitness centers, and you
They will
say
turn that bottle.
And you're not as essential as a liquor store, that should tell you something. That should really tell you something. And some of the excuses that people were making for liquor stores being open, saying, well, you don't want people to go cold turkey out here, so you got to keep the liquor stores open. I'm like, really?
Whoa.
I said, how do we know that if you push this particular option,
wow,
how will alcohol compromise that? Okay. So now you're talking, playing with your biochemistry, you see. And so that's why I said it's a critical time, because you're basically seeing those who think and those who react. And the one thing that COVID has exposed, or it really should remind us.
Can't say COVID.
Well,
yeah.
The one thing that it did, it reminded us that job security is the ultimate lie in America.
Right.
Okay. It reminded us that we are in a climate of having to be more entrepreneurial minded. Hell, just being Black in America should make you entrepreneurial minded in the first place.
That part.
Okay. So I think the lessons that this situation is teaching us, we should heed that. Okay. We should really heed that. That's where the money magic and the creativity, or what's it called?
Do you
the
know the reason? Do you know that the reason why so I don't know if anybody know. I've been doing money magic for myself for the last 7 years.
Okay.
Right, but in 2020, I created the money magic program and started giving that money magic that I've been doing for myself and put it into an algorithm, and I started giving that to people for the lockdown because the stimulus and people couldn't get any money. And so this is how believe it or not, that's how the money magic program got birthed. In the first place, is to create a bandage for the lack of funds that people were put in, situations that people were put into due to this this situation that we like to call the pandemic and stuff like that. So and the number one thing I noticed with it is this: how I'm looking at all of my Black leaders and how quiet my Black leaders are on this matter. My Black leaders are quiet as mouses on this matter, And when I say that quiet as mouses, I'm not talking about quiet in the terms of just talking about it, oh, woe is me. Right. But quiet as of, hey, y'all, we got a solution. Last time I checked, Al Sharpton, you a minister. You can give exemptions. Last time I checked, all my ministers who are real ordained ministers out there, we can give exemptions. Religious exemptions all day. Me personally, I give medical exemptions because I'm an over-the-counter drug. I'm an over-the-counter medicine with my natural holistic healing product, Miracle Food, right? So I'm an over-the-counter. I'm what is called an over-the-counter medicine, and I can also give medical exemptions. And so I noticed the shortage in Black leaders who have ministerial and pastoral and ordination as doctors of divinity, but we're not issuing out the divine prescription of exemption to our people, right? And it's like, okay, well, that's one of the main reasons, number one, why I promote exemption, because we do have a complete 100% First Amendment right to it. And a mandate is not a law. A mandate is a request from the government to a particular state that they should follow a certain suggestion from the government that the state can decline or accept. This is what a mandate is. Go check your law. If it was a law, it would have had to go through. If it was a law, it would have had to go through the justice and the Supreme Court and all that type of stuff. Okay, it didn't do none of that. It went straight from the president's mouth to your ears. That's it. That's a man. That's not a law. Okay, law doesn't work that way. So I don't never come on from the aspect of, hey man, go get your vaccine. That's your business. All right. I come from the perspective of our First Amendment rights as American citizens, and that right is to our right to use our belief systems to heal ourselves. And that's what our religious freedoms are. Our religious freedom is relying on God to give me a cure rather than man. Put not thy faith in man. You feel me? So I don't put my faith in man to give me the cure. And so this is where I come from as, as an ordained minister. And I tell people, man, I got an online church. All you got to do is just call me and get your exemption. All children under the age of 18 get the exemption for free. And all you got to do is make a $100 donation to my church, and you can get the vaccine exemption from me, right? I'm not preaching against or for the vaccine. That's not why I'm here. I'm only here to show you your rights under the vaccine. Under that.
Under Francine. Sorry.
Under Francine. And that's the only thing I'm trying to do, because I just got off of YouTube strikes, mentioning Francine a bad mama jamma. Now you don't want to talk about man. I did a podcast. I did a podcast that records on Zoom, and I posted that, and the Zoom was about Francine, and I posted that podcast on YouTube, and YouTube flagged my channel and said, we can't monetize you until December to such and such, because it goes against our guidelines against Francine. So
I tell you, that's so interesting. And so for code keepers, just to give you a little context, we're staying away from certain terms because those terms, once realized within the matrix, will get this concept, this information shut down.
I got a question for the minister. You're very, very kudos
intelligent.
Kudos to your genius. He is not an intelligent; he's a genius. Our people are geniuses, and we belittle it and call it intelligence. But kudos to your genius, and you too, my brother, Mr. Black Empowerment. I already told you, I love that B. That BE just sticks into my head, and you know how on that movie where they put the glasses on and everything says obey on the billboards. I said, I wanted to skit, but we put our glasses on and everything says B on the billboard. We put the magic glasses on, right? And that B, Black Empowerment. So that's free. Look, that's free game. That's free ideas right there. That's a free treatment right there. Take that treatment.
Money magic.
Money magic.
Money magic.
Right. And so with your genius analyzation, because you write a book on our economics and how our economics tie into our belief systems and whatnot, and through your professional assessment of our race, of our people. What do you think is going to be the one deciding factor that jars us awake into a positive Afro-economic state?
I don't know if it's going to be any one particular.
The reason why I said, but let me clarify it then, because I knew you was about to say that. When I said one factor, what is going to be just like LeBron is the key player on the team. You take the team to win the game, but LeBron is the key. What is going to be that key player that spears the Afro-economic Lakers in out of 8th place into 1st place into the West? What is going to be that one key?
That was good. Yeah,
that
was good.
I'll put it this way, okay. We're either going to be inspired to change or we're going to be desperate for change. And I think that's going to be the catalyst.
Which one is desperate for change or inspired to change? Which one will serve us better? The desperation or the inspiration?
Good question. All right, Doc. All right, Doc. Say it again. Say it again, Zombie.
That's a good question. I don't know if we're going to have to be put in a predicament where we're desperate for change because some of us are not responding. Like, look at all the stimulus money we've received over the past 10 months.
Okay. It's gone.
Okay. And how many of us were diligent with the money? Okay. Did we set aside 10% of it for ourselves to put to work at a later date? Okay.
Did we spend tithes and offerings with ourselves? See, we'll spend tithes and offerings with the church, but we won't tithe and offering with ourselves. This is crazy. This is the insanity. I swear, Dr. Umar was saying this. What they doing? Y'all better hold the church accountable for what they're doing with your Black Jesus money. All right, not Black Jesus, your white Jesus money, because Black Jesus don't treat us like that. Only white Jesus can treat us like that. So,
right.
That's crazy that you said that 10%. Do we tithe 10% of to ourselves because the kingdom of God is within, and when you tithe 10% of yourself, you're tied into the kingdom of God. That's why I was crazy.
Right.
And I tell you what, we're supposed to be, those of us who follow Christianity are led to be Christ-like and to do what God says to do. And God says to put aside 10% for you never know what's coming. Put it in the storehouse because you never know what's coming. And so if you do that for God and God is inside you, you should be doing that for yourself, your family as well. And most of the financial people that I'm around, because I'm around a lot of money folk, that's what they say. Tithe 10% to the storehouse, tithe 10% to your future. And then with that other 80%,
right?
Richest Man in Babylon said the same thing. I say
now, here's
that.
another thing that I talk about in my book, and this is your favorite, Brother Siku: cultural tithing.
Love it.
Now we talking. Okay. That's what I do.
Now,
I culturally tithe.
Okay, so let me explain cultural tithing.
Okay.
Hypothetically, today is Sunday. Now, Tuesday is going to be Mega Millions. I think it's at about 300 million. Let's say I go to the gas station, bodega. I buy tickets. I hit.
You should.
Okay. $300 million. Now, I give 30 million to the Chakra doctor. Okay. What I just did is I gave 10% of my windfall to a race first organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say that.
I'm definitely a race first organization.
Yes, that's
I love it too, man. I love being a race first organization.
Because a lot of times, and I'm beginning to notice this, is that we don't tithe to the organizations that are supposed to look out for our highest and greatest good.
I see.
Whether it's Nation of Islam, UNIA, Trans Africa, whatever. Okay. If we are to tithe not only the spiritual tithe, but the cultural tithe as well. Okay. And I kind of go into that in my book. Because, and here's another thing. I'm going to do an experiment on myself in 2022. It's called being a $20 revolutionary. Okay. Being a now,
we gotta just let that title marinate for a second, man.
$20 revolutionary.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now,
what's that about?
Okay. Now this is what
hit the weed.
So man, I can think of some $20 revolutionaries right now.
Okay, now here's what I'm getting at. Okay. If I, as an African person in America, over a 52-week period, I make a $20 purchase each week from a Black-owned business or entity, be it e-commerce or brick and mortar, in that 1 year, I would have put $1,040 back into the hands of Black businesses. Now, multiply that times 50 million Africans in America. In 1 year, we could funnel, based on being the $20 revolutionary, funnel $52 billion back into our Black economy in 1 year.
Hit the weed.
Okay,
And that's just 1 year.
1 year.
That doesn't require public policy. It doesn't require protesting. It's just, can you make a $20 purchase each week from a Black-owned business or other entity? Simple.
All right. So how many of us need to faithfully participate to hit the number you just talked about?
Well, okay. That's why I say I start with myself. Okay. And so over that 52-week period, I put $1,000 back in. Remember, revolution begins in the mirror.
Yes.
Okay. So I start with me. Now, if I can demonstrate that kind of success, now I bring the program to a larger group of people because I was the first guinea pig.
Oh, okay. So you're the proof of concept.
Right. Just like what, Brother Chakra was saying earlier about demonstrating success.
That's so in my opinion, through personal experience, that is the one thing that will, and when you talk about the inspirational revolution, that is the one thing that will inspire us. Taking something that we thought couldn't work and showing them that it actually worked way better than we thought. And that's been my strategy. So I don't know if you know, I don't know if you know it or not, but I use other ethnicities to market myself to my people at first in order to win my people over. And when my people saw that other ethnicities took me seriously, my people took me seriously like the other ethnicities.
Whoa. What's that strategy called?
I call that reverse Jim Crow.
Well, no, well, here
I love it.
I would call it this way, because what he's doing in mathematics, we call that the exponent. Okay, yes. He's not being
hit the weed.
He's being exponential. So basically what he's doing is he's leveraging what he's already created. So if he can leverage it and then make it exponential, it accelerates the wealth building process.
But the reason why I did it, because when I first got to California, and I was presenting FCA yoga and trying to just get off the ground, man. My people was like, "Who are you? What do you do? Get out of here!" Right? So I said, but I always preached that my people come from a lineage and lines of kings and queens, and it takes a lot to impress a king or a queen. And you can't just come with the average, plain Jane, normal Norman type of, spiel and expect a king or a queen to be like, "Oh, I'm on board," and be happy and enthusiastic about your normal Norman presentation. This is what Shark Tank is all about when they go on the Shark Tank.
That's dope.
It's not about whether they can help you or not. We're all rich in here. It's about how you're going to present yourself that's going to inspire us to help you. Right?
That's dope.
So
that's dope.
So with Black people, this is why, this is the subconscious science behind rappers buying these big gaudy chains. This is the subconscious programming or the subconscious or cellular memory to us always wanting to have some type of a crown or something on our head, like a kufi or fez or a cap or a hat, because this is our crown. This is our heritage. We used to wear crowns so long. We believe it or not, we've wore crowns as a race of people longer than we've not. And so that cellular memory is still there. And so,
Okay.
I
was gonna say, hey, the crown, the fez, the kufi. But hey, I do need to take 1 second out. And I got to do this. Zumbi, I haven't done this in a minute, but we got to do it. All right.
African American and African American of some level, not necessarily entirely of African descent. The use of the term Black doesn't refer to skin color, hair, texture, origin from a city or state or country, nation, or planet named Black. We're not talking about a crayon color. We're not using the term to address one's legal status or nationality. Black equals a person of some level of African or indigenous or aboriginal descent. Any questions?
All right, yeah, we had to do our disclaimer.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because I go back to Dr. Clark when he did the documentary, A Great and Mighty Walk, produced by Wesley Snipes.
Right.
And Dr. Clark said that we have overused the term Black because it may describe how you look, your phenotype, but it doesn't say where you are or where you came from. So whatever you call yourself should be connected to land, history, and culture.
Well, I always go from the magical perspective. And in magic, Black is the most powerful, force and source in the game. And I was always taught that Black is not even a color. Black is a source that color gets its DNA from. And so when
Yo. Say that again. From Black is a. Start over. That
Black,
was
Black. I was taught, that Black is not a color. Black is the source where all color get their fiber of their DNA from, right? And it is the Blackness that they all pay homage to in secret or in plain sight. And so the one thing that I always looked at it as is I always said that they got 46 shades. I was taught there were 46 shades to the Black man, right? And blonde hair and blue eyes is just the lightest shade. And so when you're talking about, Yaku's created science project, and there are evidence that shows that not only, they are a science project, but humanity in itself is a big project conducted by this infinite intelligence. The one thing you keep seeing that is a constant in all of the powerful realms of science is something called Black. Whether it's, whether it's your genetic structure and they see the Black melanin in your genetic structure and melanin is worth more than gold on the stock market, right? How can melanin even make it to the stock market if they're not trading bodies? Come on now, y'all, we gotta wake up. But we're gonna just, break into the world of how we've gone from kings to paupers, how we've gone from, queens to prostitutes. Yeah. And this is the state of the Black community that I'm addressing, because Black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, you are all Black, because Black is not a color. Black is your color source. So this is why some Latinos are trying to identify with the source and calling themselves Afro-Latino. And this is why some, other lighter skinned peoples are trying to, and I applaud, lighter skinned ethnicity groups, Caucasians and Hispanics and other ethnicity groups of a lighter descent who have enough testicular fortitude, as Mr. Farrakhan said, to actually present the truth of your kind to your kind. Right?
That happened today on the stage, man.
Now more than ever, you see them. See them coming out with the TikToks, and they're talking like I got a TikTok on. I got a short on my channel, and it's a white lady talking about. It's a white woman talking about how how white women are programmed, right? Basically, how white women are programmed into disempowerment, and they use Black women, and they do the Karen, and it's a wonderful 1 minute breakdown of her own kind, and she's a white woman that is saying this about her kind. What is the world coming to when white people speaking out on white folk? See, so you have to understand the time that we live in. Even their own kind is saying, "Wait a minute, this shit not right. What we doing? It's something that it's obvious to see that Jesus was Black." I mean, I'm running into this more and more as I do the Make Jesus Black Again campaign. I'm like, damn, I would have thought, more white folk would have been uninformed. It's not that they're uninformed, it's that they're white people or Caucasians are a fear-based people that I've come to deal with. And one of their biggest fears is being ostracized by their kind, because they got a love for their kind, so much so that they protect their own pedophiles, they protect their own bank robbers, all of the top criminals. You know, they called it a mental disease and or something like that. They never called it for what it was. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to pull up your page and show that video, but when I saw this, I had
yeah. Look, the internet don't lose. The internet is undefeated. So look, somebody. So I did a video on Dr. Umar called Rainbow Booty Boy Umar, and I did the video on YouTube. It got like over 1,000 views and stuff like that. And after I did the video, somebody sent me that meme, and I said, yeah, because this is how I feel about Dr. Umar. And let's first and foremost, you know,
hold
on. First and foremost, I like to say this, that I used to be a fan of Umar. I am not anymore. And I used to be a fan of Umar because Umar has, as far as orator and the way to speak and put some things together, he know how to string some words together now. He could string him some words together. But when it comes to actually embodying the words that he's stringing together, that's where he drops the ball, and that's where, you know, that's why he hasn't been able to make advances as a Black leader in our community, because there are too many red flags when it comes to dealing with him. And there are too many excuses and not enough solutions. And this is why we're wary of dealing with one another in Afro-economics right now, because we just gave 700, we just gave probably more than 750,000. That was just his whatchamacallit, the GoFundMe account was $750,000.
Right.
That's not including the Cash Apps and all of the PayPals and the Zelles and the Venmos and the cryptocurrencies. We're not talking about all that. See, so you know, and for people to keep and now I'm calling Black people stupid, for us to keep falling for the same hook, line, sinker. They keep giving us the same Negro over and over and over, and we keep falling for the same Negro over and over and over. And it makes me want. It really shows you how the program to dumb down our young Black men, women, and children has worked, and it's working against us now, because, like I told you before, removing that Black father out of the homes, now they got all of these women raising these young men, and only men can raise men. You understand? And now you're seeing, remember, you got to look at things. Even though they started the program back in 1940 and 1960 or whatever, when, you know, that whole civil rights thing or whatever, you got to look at the outcome. It's 2021 going on 22, and now we're wearing dresses and purses. See, wait a minute. We went from working in the factory, being able to provide for our family, being over 70% married in the household, to 82%. Where are we going? What's that other statistic? 64% of Black men, you know, get a divorce even when they do get married. You know, we're breeding this weak generation of male. Even if we wanted to do a true revolution, you're gonna have to heal yourself considerably, because you're not physically astute enough to even do certain things. You know, a lot of them could just be smacked around. You know, a little 6-foot person could come and just smack them around, and they just gonna bow down. You know, and there you go, right there. There you go. Yeah, there go the Pope kissing the feet of the Moors right there. Yeah. Okay. Receipts for days. You know,
whoa.
The Pope get on his knees and kiss Black folk feet. So why are you trying to tell me white supremacy when I'm telling you Black supreme right here? I'm showing you Black supremacy live and in person. That Pope, that's the current Pope Francis with his old self. And he had to he old too, knees hurting. Then they bend and look at, that's another Pope worshiping the Black Madonna. They worshiping the Black Madonna. They worship us. Y'all tripping. Ain't no such thing as white supremacy when you see the head of the white people worshiping us. This is why I don't believe in
Incredible, incredible. So, hey, yo, bro, I just really wanted to take a moment and highlight your IG page. You have some good stuff on here, man.
Yeah.
You have some good stuff on here, man.
Yeah, man.
We talked about Make Jesus Black Again in our last episode with
Please
you.
do that.
Where, yeah,
It's on my shop. My shop. Look at my shop. Look at my shop on my IG. You go to right there to the top. No, go scroll to the profile part, and you'll see my look. You'll see shop. They'll give you the option to shop and everything if you look down on there. No, that's my YouTube channel. Not right there. Look, go to scroll up a little tiny bit. Right. Look, no, right. Go a little bit up. A little bit up.
It's not letting me do it for
All right.
whatever
It
reason.
says shop right there though. It says shop my and it says black owned business. It should say black owned business, entrepreneur, black owned business. When you're going, it's definitely said when you go on your phone or whatever. But
yeah, on your phone it'll work. For some reason, it's I don't want to do that.
yeah.
For some reason, it's not giving me that experience right now, man. But I think people can go find you on IG, the Good Chakra Doctor, man. He has some great stuff up here. True that. True that.
He went got the cheese and nigger. He went got that cheese and nigger. He went got that cheese and nigger.
Wow.
Out of all of the bees he picked, he got the cheesy nigga. Seiko Border, you a fool.
Hey, I also thought this one was kind of funny too. I thought this was funny too.
Hello, the kid I'm babysitting.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello, the kid I'm babysitting.
It's all right. We're going to send someone over. What happened?
We were playing hide and seek, and I've been seeking for like 3 hours. I can't keep seeking.
You're sure you checked the whole house?
Yes, but he's not normal. On our way to magic camp.
What does that mean?
It's an illusionist camp. They escape stuff and eat coins.
Have you checked outside?
You don't understand. Last week he made me pick a card and a bird flew out of my mouth. He doesn't own a bird. Where did that bird come from?
Okay.
No. His parents are pulling in.
Maybe they know where he's hiding.
He must be in college. Oh my God. Am I going to go to jail?
Wow. Yo, Goddess of Love says she joined his page earlier today. If you want to get a good mix of awareness, conscious raising material, and just some crazy stuff, man. Yo, Chakra, man, your IG page is popping, bro. Look, before we're almost on for 2 hours, and I love doing these conversations with you, bro. I wanted to have one last topic. All right, so hit the weed.
Hit the weed.
Hit the weed. Our people can levitate. Now, I know they heard the Kendrick Lamar song and they're like, levitate, 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 levitate. But you're telling me that we truly can levitate. Go deeper, man.
Yeah. If you go look at the previous technologies of our people, they can't even be replicated by the technology, the so-called advanced technology of our time. This is a big, big clue, in fact, that lets us know that the people that were before us had a greater technology than we do now. And in order to understand the capabilities of what they were able to do, we have to jump into the capabilities of current day human beings. So I always tell people to jump into that. Go look at the TV show Stan Lee's Superhumans on Netflix. Go Google, go on Netflix. It's called the guy who made Marvel X-Men, right? He created this thing called Stan Lee's Superhumans. And his whole mission and task on the little reality show is to go and find real life people with superhuman capabilities. And he got seasons of it. And he always find, these superhuman people, like the Iceman guy who was able to just be in sub-zero degree temperatures without any kind of covering, and his body still stayed 98.6 degrees like a normal human in sub-zero cold water and temperature. You got the other guy who could get bit by all of the poisonous snakes and nothing happened to him. He's immune to all poisonous snake venom. You got the other guy, they call him the Electro Man. He can literally, he got enough electricity flowing through him that he can power a room. Like the lights in your room, so the lights in the room and the TV and all of the electronics and the appliances, they took it and they put it on his tongue like this here in the thing, and he lit up the whole, and he was able to light up the whole room. They had the host of it, his name is Daniel something, and he holds the Guinness World Book of Record for being the most contortion human being. He's able to contort his fingers, his hands into shit that you never seen. He's able to take his look like his hands are made of rubber when he does it. And he does it, he know how to take his arms and do all kind of stuff. And he's the host of it. And every time he goes to these places where dark melanated people are, okay, places like India, Indonesia, places in Africa, in China, and places where dark people be in them jungles. You already know what's popping. Our melanin could withstand that type of climate and stuff like that. And every time he go, there are these people that have these so-called, what one might call superhuman, but to them this is what I'm doing. I just know how to do electrical stuff, right? And they got the yogi, like he had the one with the yogi that know how to slow his heart rate down all the way to so much of a non-beat that the electro, the machine that records your heart rate goes on a flat line, and he know how to slow his heart. Look, he's like a 30-year shaman. He had 30-something years old. He went into this this state of enlightenment, and on that journey he gained this knowledge, and he has this power of how to actually slow his heart rate down so slow that it appears that he's dead and that he doesn't have a pulse. And so many cases on there, and the diagnostics behind it, like they in real time recording it and everything like that, and you realize, man, the world, and this man had seasons of this, and it's the guy that created X-Men, but he said, man, I show y'all X-Men on the TV, but the reason why I show y'all X-Men because I know that they got real live X-Men in real life. That's how you think I be getting my ideas and my shows from. Because they got people, they got real life electro men and real life people who know how to do these type of things. And they just take it and make movies about it and call it Black Panther and things of that nature. But they got I guarantee you there's a black man with a suit somewhere and living in a secret city of Black Wakanda somewhere on the face of this planet, doing something highly extraterrestrial, and he looks just like me and you.
It's an island. It's an island. I can't think of the man, what's Zumbi? You should know this, bro. It's an island. There's an island.
Trillionaires don't pay billionaires to pay puppeteer millionaires to show you entertainment in movies because they're just trying to entertain you and get your shekels. The name of this game is chess. And if you want to understand this game, you got to understand how the powers that be speak. They speak in code. And so everybody always talking about the power that be this, the power that be that. And I say, why are y'all blaming the power that be when the power that be show you every day how they move, how they rock, what they're going to do, what they're going to do next. They do it in predictive programming in all of the movies and all of the TV shows and all of the commercials and all of the songs and all of the videos and all of the theatrical plays on Broadway. You name it. They're showing you the same pattern, the same theme over and over and over. And we're just acting too blind to see it. That's what I like to call it. I like to call it, that code that is being spoken, that code is being spoken. When you look at Will Smith on the screen, that is a multi-millionaire you're seeing acting like another person that is not him. Okay? When you see when you go December 22nd when the Matrix go out, I'm about to do a expounding on the Matrix in Magic class. We're gonna break down the Matrix and show you how this life is an actual real Matrix. How, I asked you right now, remember I told you, I said, man, you can't make me believe that this life is not a video game. Why? I said because there are too many things in religion and too many things in spirituality and too many things in science that shows us that this place is super extraordinary. And we come here and we've been doing this little singing song dance that Groundhog's Day, that's what that movie was all about. We've been doing that little singing song dance for quite some time. And it even shows you with Christ, even if you believe a Christian, even if you're a Christian, you got to believe in reincarnation because Christ died and rose again. So I meet a Christian and say, oh, I don't believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in that. Well, how you can't believe in that, but you believe in Christ? When Christ died, right? And then rose from the dead. Rose from the dead means he came back to life. If someone dies and comes back, if someone dies and comes back to life, my person, that is reincarnation. Now, and he reanimated some more people in the Bible. And we think that these things are fictional stories because they're allegories. And we say, okay, but listen, but the white boy come and put Star Wars on the screen and have story after story. Star Wars, the Jedi versus the dark side. Luke, I am your father. They're dressed in all black, and the black versus the white. And they show you in all of the memorabilia. You see LeBron over and over throwing up the same symbols. You see the same actors, the same ball players, the same everybody throwing up the same shit. And everybody say, it's just a coincidence. So you think rich people just doing shit just because it's coincidence, and you just said out of your own mouth, Minister, that all the rich people you know are very well organized. Organization. I don't got no problem with organization. The only thing I got a problem with is the organization who are not actually doing anything for our people. There are a lot of organizations who say they're for us, but their fruit don't measure up to their trees. Okay.
Hey, bro. Before you continue with this line, there's two things I wanted to tap into. Did you finish on the levitate talk?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't finish on the levitate talk. I'm showing you, I'm going back around. Right, organization. So through organization, right, they got people who are doing. Say they're for us, but not for us. Right. This is why I say what. This is why it came up with FUBU, and he really wasn't for us, but it stands for us by us. Right. And so when you tap into yourself first, see, we're waiting for another black person to help another black person when black people not helping themselves first. See, let's call a spade a spade. And when you help yourself, even if you can't physically levitate and walk on water like Christ did, you'll be able to spiritually do it. You can mentally levitate, and you can spiritually levitate, and you can emotionally levitate. It'll be like you was walking on sunshine, walking on water, whoa, like the song go. So don't think just because I can't ever physically levitate. Well, so can't I either. Last time I checked, it's called gravity. But we have, we have other things that other places we can levitate in. We can levitate in our career and become a higher earner. We can levitate in our relationships and become higher and better lovers. We can elevate in our entrepreneur endeavors and become bigger and better businessmen and stop staying at the status of small business and limited liabilities. See?
Levitate.
We got to incorporate past liabilities that's limited. Give me all the liabilities. I want all the smoke. I want all the lawsuits. I want all, I'm rich enough to handle them. Bring it. See? But we're not seeing it from that perspective. We only seeing it from the perspective of poverty. That rich dad, poor dad mentality, really, is something that we are all as black people battling, to break away from. And you see it in the average black person, man. We are waking up to the fact that, wait a minute, we are thinking poorly, we are eating poorly, we are drinking poorly, we are treating each other poorly. We can't keep going on like this. And this is why the Kevin Samuels of the world exists. And this is why, the Tommy Sotomayor's exist. And this is why the Dr. Umars of the world exist and all the pharaohs exist and able to take you quick like that. Okay? Able to take you quick like that. getting all your money, but never giving you anything of substance that you can say, hey, I bought into you and it improved my life in this way. Where are your word of mouth testimonials? Where, remember when Christ was around, word spread. That's how they found out. Word spread. The people spread.
Yeah, he didn't have an IG page, man.
Yeah. See, if Christ had an IG page, he'd have more followers than Kylie Kardashian.
Hey, but I also want to take this moment to fact. All right. We kind of jokingly say, you know, where's the Wakanda? And it's the Andes Island. It's the Andes Islands. It's the Andes Islands. So this is one of my talks that I did for a group February this year. It was called Black History Ain't American History. We got people that get on that silly stuff every year. Well, you know it's really American history. How can you tell me that Aboriginal and African history of people all over the globe is American history?
Yeah, all that American is
but
black,
but I wanted to show the Andes Island very quickly, and I couldn't find the picture I wanted.
Like Javier.
Okay.
That looks like Roberto, you know?
Right.
That looks like Maria. Yep. Here's some other pictures from South East Asia in the Andaman Islands.
You feel me? We all over. Everywhere we go, there's a version of us.
Yes, sir.
Now, in 2018, this movie just killed the game. Everybody was, oh yeah, you know, Wakanda forever. Do it with me. 1, 2, 3. And we were introduced to this fictional area called Wakanda, even though there's a Wakanda in Illinois, a city. It's a little small area. But we were introduced to this fictional place called Wakanda. Well, let me introduce you to something I find is intriguing. One of the things about, you know, Black Panther and Wakanda is that Wakanda was an area that most people had never gone to because Wakandans didn't allow anybody to enter. This is the North Sentinel Islands.
That's it, North Sentinel
This was
Island.
2018 when this picture was taken. This is the area where we have not let outsiders come in to this day.
If you're over the age of 35, this is how much earwax is trapped in your ears right now. For some, it's...
These are the people of North Sentinel Island. This is the real Wakanda. They ain't letting nobody.
Right.
Right.
You come in there, you get hurt.
Okay. They trying to make their money. It's all good. The money, it goes in my pocket.
2018, this young man had some fishermen take him to the North Sentinel Island. He was killed. They don't let people come in there.
Yep.
I think they.
Yep. Yeah, the North Sentinel Island is the real Wakanda, man. We ain't letting anybody in. People have tried to come on there, they get offed. Look it up, man. It's part of the Andaman Island area, but it's North Sentinel Island, man.
Yeah,
that's the real stuff.
I think they got that. The slavery story. They got that story about that island tribe of women who didn't get captured and things of that nature, right? What about?
I'll have to look in that. I don't want to connect it to. I'll look into that.
It's supposed to be. I seen a meme and it was about this tribe of women who, when the transatlantic slave trade went down, they supposedly, allegedly they fought off the colonizer and was the only island in the West African peninsula that didn't lose a member of their population to the slave trade.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to give respect to them by hitting the weed.
Oh, there you already know. Hit the weed.
Yo, that's Code Keepers. That's gonna be our new thing, man. Hit the weed. Hit the weed. When you gotta take a deep breath and just inhale that positive information. Hit the weed. Hit the weed. Yo, Chakra, man. Yo, give us the ways to get in contact with you. Any last talks, any last words for this conversation? And then Minister Zumbi, I'd like to get your final analysis.
Okay.
So you can get in contact with me. Just Google Chakra Doctor. And it'll lead you, put Chakra Doctor into your Instagram and I'm gonna pop up, put, Chakra Doctor anywhere, and I'm real Googleable. And you can always call me at 818-429-1675. And like you see on the screen, chakradoctor.org is my website, but the quickest way to reach is calling or texting 818-429-1675.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I kind of wanted to end with this, man.
Oh, yeah,
I love this picture, brother.
So I delivered my child free birth. Me and my wife by ourselves.
Say that again, man. Talk that talk. Say that again, man.
So I broke the generational curse of slavery in my family, in my bloodline. With me and my wife, we broke that through our daughter. Number one, she's born of a free birth. August 17th, 1:03 a.m. Logged on YouTube. It was me and her by ourselves. I delivered her. She gave birth, and I delivered her 20 hours of labor. And then on top of that, we made sure that we took the avenues to make sure that she was truly born free. She doesn't have a social security number, and she doesn't have a birth certificate. She does have a passport, and she is legal to move about in the country as a human being with human rights. And this is all logged into the log books. As I teach my people how to do that too. If you want to truly become independent and free of the Caucasian, you can't do it with your social. You can't do it. You got a social security number and a birth certificate. You're a slave. You got to do it for the next generation and make sure that the next generation are being properly birthed into the game without social security numbers and birth certificates, and still being able to take benefit into this land we call our economy in America. Everything has legalities. All you got to do is just know your literature, and you'll be able to do almost anything in life. This is why in the Quran, this is why, in Islam, they said the angel told Prophet Muhammad, Iqra, read. And that's the one thing my dad and my mom always made me do. They always made me read. They made me read the Bible. They made me read the concordance. They made me read every single book that they could get their hands on. And that led to a habit of me always reading. So when I found that there are Black people on, I YouTubed it. Picture that, I YouTubed it. Used my YouTube fingers, and me and my wife did our research, and it was a process. Don't get it twisted. It was a process. It took a few months, but we went through the process, and that process is a legal process that gets your child, as you still keep your child as a United States citizen with a United States passport, because that's one of the identifying factors as a United States citizen, passport, but without having to be have your child attached with a social security number or a birth certificate, like a cow at a farm. The cows at the farm get the little number ring, and they put that in the end, they get branded. That's the same thing. Your birth certificate is your brand. Your social security number is the ring in your ear. So, slavery, never died. It's just morphed and transformed into, that's me and her right there. She was in the bathtub. I supported her the whole way. That's my, at 20 hours of labor, bro. And it was a wonderful experience. That's before the baby came, because I just had to get somebody to record and show the before, because it was just me and her by ourselves, and I couldn't do it during, because I was too focused. I was too scared, y'all. I was too scared. Look at my slave programming kicked in for about 3 seconds. And I was like, "Baby, you won't go to the hospital?" She was like, "Boy, you the chakra doctor. You better fucking deliver this baby." Boy, look at my slave programming kicked in, and I wanted to go to mass. And my wife, so my Black woman, my wife said, "Boy, you the chakra doctor. You better get your head back in the game and get this baby up out of me." And boom, that snapped me back. And I was like, because they go through so much pain. And you know, she didn't have no medication and nothing, you know, to numb the pain or nothing. And this is our first birth. It's both of our first child. We planned this child. You know, we planned Emerald Gold, man. You know what I mean? And so, you know, when she started getting to that level, and she was hurting under uncontrollable hurt, I was like, man, you sure you don't want? You sure you don't want me to? You think we need to go to the hospital? You think I'm tripping? You think I'm qualified for this? She's like, boy, you better get your head back in the game and get me out of this. Get me out of this woods. And yeah, man. And it was an amazing time, and one for the record books. And I encourage all young black men or black men who are trying to have children, man. If you're gonna do it, make sure you do it free birth style. Break the cycle of generational cursing through free birthing your child. That's how you're gonna stop, you know, a lot of our black children being logged into the systems where they will be logged. And this is how this organ, man, y'all don't, this stuff is real, bro. This criminal mafia organ stealing ring that's stealing all our children out of the Midwest and the Eastern region, and all of the Amber Alerts going on down south and in the Western on the Western side. And 80%, 75% of these things are people, these victims of these child traffickings and these human traffickings and these sex traffickings and these female trafficking are black people, y'all. So, you know, I'm just all about saving my people, man. Like, wait a minute, you trying to tell me there's a trade that is bigger than the drug trade called human trafficking, and the humans that they're trafficking are 75 to 85% black people.
That's deep, man.
That's where I'm at. You know, that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Just all about shining a light on these truths. So, you know, you can't never say you didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm not here to make you decide, but you can't never say, well, I never heard that point of view before. You know?
Yo, bro, tell us a little more about how you were able to do a free birth and also make sure that your child is not part of the governmental matrix. I've heard people talk about it, but to have somebody that I'm actually tapped into who went through that process. You know, I hear people talk about, you know, get your sovereignty. Well, what have you done? I don't have my driver's license. You can't drive. You know, that, I don't mean that. But you got real stuff. I mean, this is real.
Yeah, I always tell people, if you got a social security number and you've been doing things under your social security number and birth certificate, I don't believe in, you know, you becoming a sovereign from that. They got a record of you doing a whole litany of things under that social security number and that birth certificate, man. And whether or not you become a sovereign or not, that stuff is in the fucking record books, you know, excuse my French. But I do believe, you know, in the legal way of birthing. You remember, because this is how the Mormons, all of those off-grid religious groups that be living in nature and stuff, this is how they birth their children. They don't go to no hospital and get no birth certificate. When the Mormons, you know, when the Mormons is at who them is, the people that be on the farms. What's their name is the Amish. When the Amish living on their farm, they don't give no birth no hospital, get no social security number, birth certificate. When the Native American in the so-called Native American on the Indian Reserve, they don't be giving no birth to no hospital. They be giving birth in their reservation, no birth certificate, no socials. And there's a whole faction, a group of people out here that's walking around like this. We just don't know it because we don't know that this is a corporation and not an actual government. But we mistake it for a government and not the corporation. Remember, if it's a capitalistic government, it's not a government; it's a corporation. If the capital is the number one thing that rules the nation, then there's gonna always be a way for you to see if there are leaks or ways to legally do something within that system if you just read. And so the one thing I read up on is, first thing is, can I give birth to a child and not have a birth certificate and a social security number on American soil and it be legal and not go to jail? And you Google that. My Google fingers did that. And guess what? The Google fingers came out right. Said, yeah, you can. You can get your child a passport. And they walk you through the steps on how to get your child a passport, how to fill out your letter of no record. You have to do a letter of no record and test that your child was born but not in the hospital. Remember, you got to remember why this is legal, because the hospital is not a government entity, it's a corporation. It's like saying, oh, if you go to this hospital over here, such and such them own that hospital. And if you go to that hospital over there, such and such them own that hospital. It's not a government entity. Okay? It's a corporation. And so understanding the first corporation is you, the corporeal, the incorporated, the one who is incorporated into this body, then you'll understand how the corporate terms works. And so we don't know that, hey man, they're treating us like livestock and we're letting it happen when we could just do like the old fashioned way and give birth to our own. And there's the way to actually get your child a passport, right? And get your child a passport without the birth certificate or social. And now you just broke the generational curse because a passport is U.S. citizenship. Period. You can't get around. That's easy as pie. You ain't gotta intellectually masturbate to figure that one out. It's easy. We just not reading. The only reason how I was able to get this, and I'm just gonna be honest, I was in jail and I read a lot. So I said, hey, let me come out and see if what I read is true. And lo and behold, all that stuff I read was true, the chakras and everything. And now look at me. I decided to, when I read Think and Grow Rich, I held Think and Grow Rich in Napoleon Hill next to my heart for 2 years, 3 years, right? When I read Blacked Out Through Whitewash, I still got that to my heart to this day. All praises be Dr. Susan for bringing us the great black mother in the flesh. You understand? Like,
Can I stop you for just a second, good brother? Yeah, brother Ma'at,
we can do it, though. We can do it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was gonna say, brother Ma'at, we answered that a little earlier, but I tell you what, since we saying we can do it, we had a couple of people who asked some questions in the comments, and I was just gonna let him know that, we already hit that, but we can hit it again. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, money magic simply put is using magic and sorcery to manifest resources, to manifest favorable situations, to manifest protection against negative situations, to manifest abundance, wealth, and a continuous increasing income from multiple sources on a continuous basis. It's definitely geared to increase your vibe about yourself and your vibe about life, which will automatically attract certain monies to that vibe. And it's a wonderful, it's computer algorithms, which makes it unique. And it's all, and you only have to read. I told you, read. You don't have to do all of the fancy stuff, draw a circle and do all of this stuff. We teach you at my school that you are the circle. You are the earth. This is the omnipresence, the omnipotence, the omniscience of the Creator. The Creator is in you, and greater is He that lives in me than he that lives in the world. And Jesus said, lift up the rock, you're going to see me there. Cut up in the tree, you're going to see me there. What was He talking about? The spirit that pervades, the infinite, immortal spirit that pervades all living things. This is who we are.
Right.
This is who we are. You feel me? So when we use that spirit to intentionally manifest a high, not just money, because if you do money magic just seeking only physical cash dollars, you're gonna miss the enrichment of the true money. And I told you, true money is building yourself into the best character, so that when your character leaves this earth, people will say, "That's our guy. He's the guy that made us look good. He is the guy that that we are better because of him."
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Since you hit that one, man, I wanted to hey Zumbi.
Yes, sir.
I want to actually I want to post one of the comments. I'm going to let the Chakra Doctor give his thought on it. Then I'd love for you to give your thought on it.
Let him do his thought first.
You'll let him do it first?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Until we're able to maintain our
All
immunity longer than 6 hours.
Read loud.
Okay. Until we were able to maintain our dollar in our community longer than 6 hours, stop voting for parties instead of policies, and work as a collective for the empowerment of the culture and the people. It's a hard lift, But if we get on code, possible. Okay.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's how I would look at it. Okay. All economies are built through entrepreneurship. Okay, that's a given.
Yes.
There's a gentleman out of St. Louis. He's an evangelical Jew named Josh Tolley, and he wrote a book called Evangelpreneur. In the book, he says that if you have an economy that's employee based, it won't survive the third generation. Okay, so we have to be producers if we want to have real economy. And like I said, all economies are built on a nucleus of culture, history, and spirituality. Okay, that's very important. And I talk about that in my book, where any type of economic philosophy or theology must be built on that nucleus in order for people to not only survive, but thrive.
Amen.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what else he was talking about. You know, because
you talk about our dollar
okay
going into the community and leaving out within 6 hours. That's a statistic. The black dollar doesn't last 6 hours in the community.
Okay, now that can only happen when you build businesses. Okay, in order for it to circulate throughout a community, it can't circulate on a consumer level. It has to be B2B. So if the dollar starts at the dry cleaner and then it's deposited into the bank or the credit union, okay, then that dollar gets borrowed by, let's say, a black trucking or a black warehouse distributor. You see, so you have to build businesses in order to have an economy so that dollar can circulate.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of that.
Right.
I'm a big fan of everybody becoming their own small business. And if you want to stay a small business, stay small, but become a business, whether you want to stay small or go big, you know, and learn that economics, man. So
right.
I'm a big fan of that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because here's how the federal government defines quote unquote small business. Any entity that generates less than $10 million a year in gross revenue is what they consider small business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the principles I have is we want African people to build businesses that are generating at least 10 million a year in gross revenue. Why? Because if we're going to solve, and this is where the black entrepreneur plays a role in solving the unemployment issue.
Yes.
You must build businesses of size and scale to where you can pay your people a living wage.
Yep.
Okay. So in your case, I know that's probably one of your milestones is, how do I get my business to generate this much revenue so I can pay my people living wages?
Yep.
Okay. And that's the thing, because I had a retired black executive. He says, young blood, when you talk to the people, make sure they understand they must ask themselves the question, how can I build a business that can go from 0 to 1 million within the first 3 to 5 years? Okay, because he saw what we're beginning to see now with this economy. The executive director of the Federal Reserve, he already said we're in a these are his words, post-COVID economy. Whatever the economy was before March of 2020 is gone forever.
Yep.
Okay. And
all right, hey, Zombie.
Yes, sir.
I hate doing this, man. I hate doing this, bro.
He said the big bad word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to, but you know, that's why I said these were his words, not mine.
Yeah, toss the ball, man. Toss the ball.
Okay. So basically, because now we're in a new phase, we're in a new economy, And this economy is requiring us to be more entrepreneurial minded than ever before.
Most definitely.
Okay. 45%, I think that's the number, 45% of Black businesses are gone because of this situation. But I also look at what is the opportunity. Let's look at industries that will emerge out of this situation that we can get into, whether it's urban agriculture, whether it's, like right now, you've got somebody that goes around these Chinese restaurants and actually picks up their used cooking oil that they take to a facility, and it gets
I know somebody who do that.
Recycled into biodiesel.
Yep.
Okay. Me getting into it used to be called information marketing. Now it's called infopreneurship, where basically information is the product.
Right.
Okay. So for example, the book I wrote, okay, that makes me an infopreneur. Brother Siku, you probably remember back in the 80s when Tony Robbins came with those personal power tapes.
Yeah, I bought them.
Okay.
I bought them at a yard sale, but I did buy them.
Okay. That's another form of being an infopreneur. And that's why I was talking about being an infopreneur is organizing information in such a way that when you package it and now you can sell it. Okay. Whether it's an online course, which is very big now, it's a $300 billion industry.
Ben X did a TEDx on it called Digital Real Estate, huh? Calling it Digital Real Estate.
Right.
Oh, that Ben X? Yeah,
Brother Ben X. Okay. So when I'm looking at something that we as African people can get into, I mean, think about it. How many of our educators can we take, and instead of them trying to quote unquote fix a system, you can get into this industry and create your own academy. Okay. No overhead, no inventory.
Right.
Okay. Like I could see you, Brother Siku, using Thinkific to teach about real estate, to teach about credit, to teach about, and people are willing to pay for valuable information.
Yep.
You know what? We're going to stop giving up the game right now. Brother Rance, man, Chakra Doctor, man, did you want to tap into that question? And then we had one last question from Ahati Ma'at that I wanted to go, and that's going to end our show for tonight.
Okay.
So,
he says,
I just go to Ahati Ma'at.
Okay. Until we can govern ourselves without interference from Europeans, there will always be a collective limit to our power use. Tulsa, as an example. And that's from Brother Ma'at. What's your response, brother?
All right. My response to that one is we still thinking fear-based, right?
Yes.
My dad used to always make me repeat an affirmation when I was 5 years old. He used to always make me repeat it over and over and over. And to this day, I still remember it, and that affirmation is, we no longer have to face the atrocities of Medgar Evers and Emmett Till. We're no longer in that era where they'll be able to just bomb our new metropolis out of existence like they did of old. We're no longer, believe it or not, people talk about Dr. King's dream, but if you want to be technical, it in a lot of ways it has come true. You see a lot of different ethnicities. You see a lot of different people getting together, like me and my business partner, a Black, African American, and an Indian man. Two communities that are on the totem pole that's coming together economically, right? And saying, hey, you're dark, I'm dark, let's put something together, right? And when you look at it, a lot of people are still riding on the wave and the fear mongering of what basically, what happened to us back in the past. You know what I mean? We're good at relying on and holding on what happened to the past and saying, and because it's not about how you fall down, it's about how you get back up. All right, Tulsa, Oklahoma was a fall down, so you're gonna try to tell me we ain't gonna build no more Tulsa, Oklahoma because our black ass too scary to build another one because the big bad wolf came and blew our house down? This is what this is what they're saying. They're saying, hey, don't go and do another Black Wall Street because of what happened to the first Black Wall Street. And if at first you don't succeed, you dust yourself off and you try again. And you try it again. And you keep pounding the pavement until the pavement crack. Either two things gonna happen. You're gonna give up because your hand hurting, or you're gonna pound the pavement and the pavement gonna crack with your hand bloody, battered, and bruised. But it's either or, and you gotta chip away at the old block. So that's
that's deep, man.
That's the wonderful.
I like the way you said that, bro.
That's the wonderful thing about don't focus. If we are what we attract, and if we focusing on what the European is doing, we're still not focusing on our Afro-economics. Afro-economics say I'm not about to focus on what the European is doing. I'm about to focus on what my people are doing because what my people are doing is better than what the European is doing. The European is using my people to push forward what they're doing. So why not we, us, use our people to push forward what we're doing? So that's all it is.
I love it.
We're looking over at the next man's business and the next man's corporation and the next man and what they did to our ancestors in the past and how they did this and how all of these things are going on right now, when in actuality, the only thing it actually takes is for you to have a keen focus on what you really want in life. And when you have a keen focus on what you really want in life, a love for that which you have focus on will propel you towards that focus with no fear, right? You're not gonna care who try to tear down your house. You ain't worrying about you ain't worrying about the big bad wolf. You don't care about who tearing down your house. I'm about to build this house because I need some shelter over my head now. And economics is shelter. Economics, remember, you need food, clothing, shelter, education, and medication. That's our top 5 right there. So when you're talking about Afro-nomics, you're talking about a shelter for black people. Every other race got a shelter. Chinese people got a shelter. The Indian people got a shelter. The Japanese people got a shelter. The Arabs got a shelter. They all got stores in our hoods, and they all using they're all using our black economics to fund their lifestyles.
Their shelter. That's deep.
Sorry, and I heard somebody say, I forgot where I heard this from, but I heard somebody say, how the hell we gotta wait till we die to get to heaven while they get to have their heaven on earth, while we while we gotta die just to get to heaven. So well, of course you're gonna die just to get to heaven. I hope you go to hell when you get to heaven. I hope you go to hell when you die because you're worshiping that white Jesus. See, worshiping that. See, and when the white man go to the church, he worship the white man. The white man go to the church, he worshiping the black Madonna, all the powerful white men. When the Indian man go to church, he's worshiping a God that looks like him. And when when all of the people go to their particular religious institutions, they're worshiping gods that look like them. We're the only one not on code.
And hence our title, Get on Code. Hey, look, brother Ma'at, who brought up Gaddafi, man, Ma'at had some really interesting things. We're just not going to get a chance to tap into those tonight, But I did want to end with one of the videos that Chakra Daka has on his IG page. I was playing it a little in the background because you said, we all fall down, but it's what you do when you get back up that counts. And in this particular video, man, this young brother, asked this young lady to go to the prom with him. And she says no in front of all. Right. But what's interesting is what happens next. He feels dejected. He feels bothered. And his boys come around and say, it's all right, dude. We got you. Then his head goes up.
Right.
And it's what we do afterwards that counts. It's what we do afterwards.
And if your friends don't do that for you, if your friends don't do that for you in life, then they ain't your friends. They're not your friends. Do not call them your friends if they don't. If things like that happen to you and they don't respond like that.
And I got to show that to a lot of people. Hey, we want to thank all the code keepers. We want to thank the Love Gang. The Love Gang came out hard tonight. The Love Gang came out hard tonight.
My gang, man. My gang. They came out hard.
But hey, peace again to the Code Keepers. They were doing their thing tonight. Brother Minister, always good to have you back on the platform. Chakra, as many videos that I have on the platform now from our first conversation. You know, you already a Code Keeper, man. So,
Yeah,
welcome to the
man. Gotta
family,
keep
bro.
it cold, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me in, man.
One thing.
Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. End this out, brother.
This is a shameless plug from an elder of mine. He's in Baltimore. This is Baba Olatunji in Wamba.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
Now
know
he
him.
just put out a book, and the book is entitled "An African-Centered Response to the LGBTQIA Organization and Their Agenda: The Conversation No One Wants to Have."
Nobody don't want see, and that
Okay.
and listen, bro.
And
Ooh, that's gotta be a totally different show. That's another show.
That's a totally different show. But man, you're absolutely right.
But I want to make sure that everybody now you can contact Baba Olatunji on Facebook because he's selling the book through Shopify. Okay, and I'm about 80% of it through the book. Sometimes it's so heavy I got to put it down and come back 2 days later. That's how valuable this book is. So you want to talk about being armed?
That might be the next book. I start doing me some lives off of. I might get that book. Start doing me some lives off that one, bro.
Okay, so,
right.
make sure you support the elder Baba Olatunji.
What's the name of that book again? One more time. I got it.
Okay.
Wait.
All right.
Let me get my pen. Let me get my pen. Write that down right quick, man. I gotta get that one.
It's a good thing. I love the Bible, man. That's
What's the name? What's the name of the book?
It's called An African-Centered Response to the LGBTQIA Organizations and Their Agenda. Okay, and then the subtitle, The Conversation No One Wants to Have. Okay.
Hold it up to the screen, bro. Hold it up to the screen.
Yeah.
Hold it up to the screen. Right. Yeah. Keep it right. Stop moving. Right there. Keep it right there.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. Pause. Right.
I got it. Organizations and their agenda. Organizations and their agenda. Wow. He's pulling off a Dave Chappelle with that one. I was close.
Okay. Now this is 12 years of research that the elder did.
Okay.
All right. So you know what? We gotta have the elder on Get on Code, and we'll chop that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get you the contact info.
We'll chop that up. I'm looking forward to it. Brother Chakra Doctor, check him out at chakradoctor.org. Get your chakras aligned.
Thank y'all,
I keep
man.
using
Love
that term.
Love gang. Y'all already know. Love gang.
All right. Love gang. All right. So as we say, get on code, share the code, teach the code, become the code. Our code is empowerment, and we love you. Peace.
Love you.